Just flip me off when it's ready.
It's ready.
Oh, hey guys, I'm RJ. This is the initial episode of Bread and Circuses. We got Vito here.
Hey guys.
Rico.
How's it going?
Kevin.
Yay! What's up?
And Noah.
Noah. Right on. Noah, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing while you're here.
Earlier I did a podcast with Kevin Messing to my right here. Painting a picture for people to listen. And we talked about my fictional tale, No Net. And that was a very enjoyable romp.
Right on. I'll have to definitely check that out. What was what are we putting that one out under? What was the name of that?
It's Craft is King.
Craft is King podcast. So you guys will have to get on there and check that out and listen to all that. And then Vito, what are you doing here?
I've been buddies with RJ to my right here for a minute here. He's been trying to get me on his podcast for a minute, so finally made it out. Got a day off of work. Here I am. Heard some Pokemon Go was going to be talked about, so I came as the positive reinforcement.
You had that show last night, though, right?
Yeah, my band had a show last night out to Bossy Girls off of High Street, Pirates Life, Irish Punk Rock. Give us a like on Facebook.
Okay, you guys are on Facebook. Is there anywhere they can go to listen to your music?
We're on Facebook, and then there is a link to our Wix on our Facebook, and all of our music from our EP is up there right now for free.
How many songs are on the EP?
The EP is 5 or 6. I don't really remember, but they're all originals, all 5 or 6 of them.
Is it just there on that site, or is it like on a Bandcamp too?
I believe it's on a Bandcamp.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure of that, but it's definitely on the Wix, definitely free.
Okay, cool.
That's fucking awesome.
We've got, I'll put the links to both of those. I've got it up right now. Anybody watching us on YouTube will see, they're looking at your Pirates Life Wix right now. We'll put the links up for anybody later that wants to find it. Glad to have you also, by the way.
Happy to attend.
Yeah, this is fun. So that puts demand in my
sweet ass Jerry shirt.
Definitely hoping that Rico on is a regular for the Bread and Circuses. Other than that, got anything going on you want to tell people about?
Surprisingly, no. I'm pretty much a boring person.
Just say you're simply existing.
Just simply existing.
Right on.
Going with the flow. Just hanging out.
That's great. I'm with 60 Grit Radio. If you want to check that out, we're on YouTube and SoundCloud. Should be on Stitcher in another week or so. I'll get those links put out on the 60 Grit Radio Facebook page. And then Kevin.
Well, I am dabbling a little bit of everything right now. I'll be on air 2 more times tonight. We got our Bad Dinner guest. Those of you that might be listening that could have started there, Lou and I will be talking about the history of hijacking. I don't know, you guys might have heard about this or not. The FBI closed the D.B. Cooper case finally. They finally, their words were, I'm paraphrasing here, they're going to reallocate the funds towards investigations that they might actually have a chance to solve. So Lou has taken that and run with it, and he, it's the most famous skyjacking. So he's going to be driving the car into this episode.
He's definitely driving the car,
and it's going to be conspiracy riddled. I'm sure
he's probably feverishly jerking off right now, thinking about.
So normally he's so into it. I had to come over last night for 3 hours to study with him because he was like, dude, we got to talk about this.
He expands his mind on that.
He's taking it very seriously. So anybody who's interested in that, we'll be doing that tonight. I can't wait to see where that's going. I'm more excited. So next Sunday, I think RJ, if you want to come on, that would be cool. We're going to be talking about
word life
on. We'll be talking about.
It's
man, you got me. Yeah, 60 grit. I was pulling up your 60 grit so that people could see it. But in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about Waco and Ruby Ridge, and just talking about other times in history where rules of engagement have been used.
Man, you're gonna make me want to
supposed citizens. Yeah,
just some research firms come in.
Yeah.
I need to study my books a little bit.
We're a little all over the place with that one, but yeah. So that's what I got going on, and then I just kind of dabble and help out on these other podcasts that we do.
We're all creators. Self high five.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Ooh. Which I guess since I've gone ahead and put everybody else's site up, I might as well put
you put all of us over, put yourself over.
Self-promote.
Self-promote that.
Might as well.
Chill at will.
So, are we live on YouTube right
Yeah,
now?
we are going live. We are.
Find it.
It's just a Bad Dinner Guests on YouTube. You should be
Bread
able
and
to find
Circuses
us.
episode 0, No Net Scene preview.
That was the one that we just.
That was
the other one.
He's
This one should be called Bread and Circuses episode 1. Found it on my phone.
Found it.
So, yeah, and there's the link. Yeah, oh wait, I'm not screen sharing it yet. So this is what our blog looks like. Just so you guys might not know, but maybe you're into some of this. We do like Fallout 4 videos and stuff. Like
Okay, cool.
This morning my buddy Lou.
I can definitely do some video game stuff.
Okay, yeah. So if you guys, we have a Twitch account, but besides that, we just upload it. If you have your own Twitch account, you can we'll upload it onto the YouTube channel. So we have it all under one roof. I've been doing New Vegas because I don't have a new system. So
hey, New Vegas is a good one.
Yeah. I'm doing. Well, you got something?
My hand,
yeah, you want to interject?
What's the name of the Twitch channel?
Our Twitch,
just Bad Dinner Guests.
Everything under the sun that we are is Bad Dinner Guests.
Okay.
We luckily have that name everywhere. It was available, so whether it's
good
Twitch, YouTube, on Blogger, you can find the short stories and any short films we've done. Those are all also on YouTube.
Because you can initialize it like BDG.
Yeah, and then the whole idea was just for it to be an open forum where political correctness and all that kind of stuff wasn't really
and we're all
necessary. That you could just sort of be yourself and express yourself at all costs. We have a short story on here that is essentially like a little porno, honestly, because I edit all the shorts that come through, and I remember reading that one, being like,
"Who wrote it?
This is why you started this. Remember, this is why you started this. So people
free
can do
speech.
This.
No limits.
Yeah, it's like freedom of speech isn't there for popular speech. It's that popular speech doesn't need protected. So there were a couple, and it was Jarrell.
Oh,
Jarrell
okay.
wrote, I just remembered thinking, man,
awesome.
if I walked into a room and saw my grandmother reading a Jarrell Edgerton piece, I would instantly know. I instantly know.
I have to message. I had to message.
Granny, what you doing?
I had to message him and give him the book. So
yeah, he's a good writer. He's a good writer in his own right.
I'll check that story out. I'm very curious. You sold me.
There's some other cool stuff in there. You got Sean's got some work and Lou's got some work. My work's a little out there. So.
Can we just start posting porn so I can get some work up there?
There you go.
I think we'll get pulled off YouTube for that.
We can
post penetration.
We can use our old production company, Men at Twerk Productions.
As long as somebody
can we trademark that?
An extremist
and post penetration.
Posting penetration, or is it about post penetration?
Shit!
That's the thing.
So
is it
people
porn or after porn?
Phone posts.
It's just a site about people cuddling,
porn
stars cuddling.
People cuddling.
That's awesome.
Smoking a cigarette after.
There's so many ways you can take post penetration.
I know. That's why it's good.
I think we need to trademark that shit. Get on GoDaddy. Get that .com.
Speaking of porn sites, that's where I thought.
GoDaddy isn't taken yet.
Yeah.
GoDaddy.
That's right.
Oh shit. So I know that
I love that
our talk. Yeah, you like that. The talk we were having this morning, Nate. I know part of it. We didn't really. I just called you Nate. You're Noah. Shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had Nate on.
That's so funny that you said Nate.
It's gonna be a good day.
That's so funny that you said Nate because one of the characters in an upcoming project, like a book, is named Nate, like one of the main characters.
See, and I knew that, and I was just giving you an opportunity to segue.
Yeah, no,
you see how good of a host I am, man. Dude, I just sacrifice myself for the team. But yeah, no.
Your cleanup game is just on point, like a desk.
I'm here to stay.
Oh man!
But so you wanted to talk about the Pokemon Go?
What everybody wants?
Well, everybody wants, but I wanted to put you on the spot first, so I could let everybody know who's on what side here.
Okay.
They're also on sides now.
So that's what he wants to do. This is
just maybe not sides, but I'm just saying
you can't have a discussion if you're all on the same side.
Yeah, exactly.
And Kevin, you're kind of like a tweener. You're like you don't hate it, you don't love it, but you're just kind of like you understand it. And I wouldn't say I necessarily hate it. I'm just blown away by how it's swept over. Not even this nation, but like everywhere.
Yeah.
Globalist.
It's a globalization of delirium.
See, the thing about Pokemon Go is I have the documents.
I think it's live in almost 30 countries now.
Jeez.
At least.
Yeah. And it's just going to keep growing.
Mm.
I mean,
yep, it's just going to keep going.
But the only thing that I think is fascinating by Pokemon Go is that it really has created this almost Civil War-like atmosphere for modern times. Because if you're against it, you're almost like considered like, well, you're an angry person. You're a fucking grumpy Gus or whatever. That doesn't understand it, and we're out there like walking around. Okay, yes, you are out there walking around, but you're looking into your screen. Same fucking thing you would be doing if you're at home on your ass. You know, it's like, you know what I mean?
Fair.
Yeah,
That's a fair argument.
Yes, but if you see that, a lot of people do say, "Well, we're exercising." Well, no. Well, even when people exercise and they're not on Pokemon Go, they have to document it online. Oh, I did all this shit at the workout. I did this. This is the girl I fucked. This is the fucking food I ate. This is the shit I took. It's like, why do you have to
girl fuck fit in as a workout? I have not seen that as a workout app
you get sweaty, you gotta rinse off, and then you gotta...
If I had known we were supposed to tweet about the shits we took, I'd have been...
Well, maybe that wasn't an app.
That has to be a Twitter.
Maybe we should create a social media gathering called Shitbook.
It's probably an Instagram post.
Yeah.
Shits I took.
Have like a new filter for it.
Or what about what I just came up with it? Like, you can only post pictures of your crap, and we call it stoolful.com.
There you go. That's kind of
start
smart.
buying up internet real estate.
Dude, why am I not in Hollywood?
Somebody come along.
Oh wait, I'm not Jewish.
Yes. No. The only thing I'm mad about that and that whole thing, I'm mad that you apologized for it.
Political correctness. Bye.
That's the point.
I'm not Jewish. Listen, retake. I'm not Jewish. I don't give a fuck.
Check that politeness at the door. Yeah. You know, like, don't talk over anyone.
I just said that because I don't know who's Jewish. But from the noses, I can tell that nobody's Jewish here, so I'm safe.
The only reason I'm even against anybody talking over people is my $8 microphone. If we had better microphones, I'd even encourage that. Like, just yell over each other. I don't care.
Oh shit! It's gonna be interesting to see how this turns out with that. It might be all right. We'll see.
It's gonna be a fun show.
It wasn't too bad. Like I said, I was sneaking in on you guys earlier with that little, and it wasn't
not bad. It was
just when we catch ourselves.
Let me ask you something really quick because I'm a musician and I have a studio, whatever. Why can't we all? I mean, we could pitch in and we could get one of those like mixers, like where you can put in like 4 mic.
They're expensive. That's the next step.
Yeah. But I mean, if everybody pitches in like 100 or something like that, I mean, because at least everybody could have a mic and they could have their own channel.
Yeah, that's probably after the show for sure.
And that is definitely one of the next steps, but we didn't want to wait until we had that stuff. The thing is right now is like fake it till you make it.
Right.
You can hear us talk. That's good enough.
And the good thing about that, when the quality is better or it's upgraded, people, for whatever reason, they take you more seriously.
No doubt.
Because they think you're like
doing it professionally.
You put effort in. Right?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about what we needed.
Okay, yeah, sure.
It was necessity.
Yeah.
So definitely after this, get with me. So
I can talk about some mics and shit, but we want to bore people about
right. So on the Pokemon Go thing,
we're nerdy enough.
Like I really enjoy it. Vito enjoys it.
Yeah.
You're kind of it.
Like I'm on the fence. I think it's just.
So you're kind of like us then.
Yeah, they're taking over the world with it.
That's what my
they're
thought
looking
is.
at literally everything in the house.
Team Rocket invented.
Quite
possibly. Okay, my thing is let's talk about the nostalgia effect, okay? Because clearly this was very
nostalgic.
Predetermined. It was very calculated because they knew that people in their 20s, 30s, and little children and teenagers would all love it because all the people I just turned 34. So all the people that are in our age bracket, and Kevin, I don't know how old you are.
It's a mystery.
Okay, you're a woman. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm older enough.
Okay,
I'm 28.
Okay, there you go. I'm sorry.
What did that shit?
Who cares? We all die.
I mean, the government's already reading my text messages.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Like Kevin's gonna tell me. Anyway, but like.
Oh, look, we're doing an episode on psyops, man.
Yeah.
They're already looking at me.
But like the genius about it because it really is. It's the perfect crime in a way because even the people that bitch about it, they can do that exercise thing, but they can also say, a lot of people were like, well, fuck you. This is from my childhood. I've loved this since Pokemon Stadium on N64. Kiss my fucking ass. And then all the kids, little kids, I have an 8-year-old daughter. She sees it. Well, this is cool. I don't know. Huh?
Somebody fucked you and then kept it. That's even more phenomenal.
Whoa!
Oh, shit. What?
Damn.
That's swerve. See, I talk about Kevin's age and I hate it.
Yep. See? Be careful.
But they
But you
do
know what
the
I
same
mean?
thing with the movies, though. Like, Disney's been relaunching all these movies, playing on the nostalgia. I don't see marketing to a crowd that you know you're going to be able to sell to as inherently evil by any measure. And not only that, like, if I had an 8-year-old kid, I would want to go out and catch fucking Pokemon with them. I had nothing when I was a kid that, like, I wanted to do that my parents wanted to do at all. Like, they talked about lawn darts and kick the can. Lawn darts were outlawed and kick the can. We had balls now. So we didn't really need that. But, like, to be able to, like, drive around and, like, I always rode around with my dad when he was out doing business. If I could have been like, hey, there's a Pidgeotto over there, let's go try and catch that. Yeah. That would have been fucking sweet.
Well, I've heard people say, like, they should ban it because there are people getting wrecks. Just for example, last night when I was unloading our gear after a show, this dude was driving with the gear and he was, like, seriously looking at his phone and I told him, like, dude, like the light, like, he was, like, trying to look like, oh, man, I wish I could stop that fucking shop, whatever the fuck.
I hope that they change it to where if it shows you on the GPS
and
on
you're
a road,
driving, you should stop.
or just on a road.
Over like a certain
Now, that's a good idea, see? Yeah, that's proactive.
Yeah, like, if they can distinguish, if they can get it down to where sidewalk and road isn't the same on there, which most of the time it showed us while we were walking around. While you guys were recording yours, we walked around for like an hour and a half.
And just rolled shit.
And even then, if you go over a certain speed, it doesn't register any steps towards like hatching your eggs or anything.
Well, the eggs are off steps.
Well, it's based off of speed. So if you're driving a car really slow, like 5 or 6 miles an hour, it'll start registering. But if you're going 35 miles an hour, you're not getting any steps. You're just moving, and things will still pop up. But there's really no point in driving and playing Pokemon Go. And as an advocate for Pokemon Go, I'm also an advocate for there is a time and a place.
Right.
Professor Oak said it best, man. There is a time and a place for everything. You can't ride your bike in a tall grass.
Well, see, I respect the hell out of the two of you for at least you understand the ramifications of how it can be bad.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of ignorant people that are like, fuck it, who cares?
Yeah.
I see that a lot at my job.
Yeah.
I manage a fast food place.
Okay.
And I'm big Pokemon Go player. You know, when I go on my break or go to the bathroom, I'm looking at it real quick. But when you're working, there's no reason to, like, number one, be on your phone unless there's like an emergency or you're working. You should not be playing Pokemon Go while you're working.
Kevin, that's a whole aspect that we need to save for part 2, but I'll just get into that really quick. I work at the courthouse downtown, and they have started to, like, stop people from going on, like, Netflix and doing all that shit. Yeah. But the thing is, you know, like, I did a thing, you know, studying off of my book and shit, like, I asked a few people, like, what would you do if they just said you can't be on the internet at all and not even on Wi-Fi? And a lot of people, no joke, that have been there for, like, 5-10 years said, I would just fucking quit. Yeah. Because I can't sit in a cubicle and not look at my phone or use my data.
You can't just go back to radio.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, it's not the same at all.
Well, back in the 80s, people, like, what do they have?
All you had was radio,
Walkmans, radio. Yeah. And self-loathing and hanging themselves.
And cocaine. Oh, wait, what are you talking about? They had a lot of cocaine.
They did have
so I didn't really want any of that stuff. They just wanted, like...
Dude, I really do feel people were way more real back in the fucking day.
But there's them who grew up in that, you know, none of that in their lives at all. And we've grown up in a generation, in a world where it is everything we have.
Yeah, we've grown up in a gestation of technology where it's like overcome our senses.
Right. So I can definitely see somebody saying you can't be on the internet, you can't be on the Wi-Fi while you're working, but that's also a little ridiculous.
It's been on the job entirely. Like, you're working in a warehouse, like the warehouse I worked at, they would let you, the supervisors would give you the password to the Wi-Fi so you could listen to Spotify and shit.
Right.
But if they came around and saw you on your phone, they'd yell at you.
Fucked up,
And like, whenever I was on my phone, I'd offer to show it to them. If they came by and was like, get off there, I'd show them exactly what I was doing.
Well, I'm on Spotify.
Well, you bring up Spotify is way different because let's say you're listening to fucking Spotify, Pandora, whatever, and you have that shit in your fucking pocket. who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
Like you're listening to music. It's essentially you're listening to a fucking Discman like back in the day.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right. Or if you're listening to 60 Grit Podcast.
Absolutely.
Or a Pirate's Life.
Or Craft is King.
Yeah,
or,
something like that.
Or
So I see the pros of the higher ups and Big Brother trying to distinguish that or extinguish that.
Now, do you think that they're getting back to Pokemon Go? Do you think that they're gonna do like limitations, like because it is like there's been a death toll.
There is a death toll. Yeah.
Even though I guess did they now correct you guys play this so you know?
Yeah.
But they say that there's like a warning, like saying like you.
Yeah.
What do they say?
Yeah, the first thing you see is the Niantic logo, and the very second screen is a silhouette of a guy walking a bridge on his Pokemon. And it says, remember to stay aware of your surroundings, always be alert. So that's the loading screen. The very first thing it tells you is to not be an idiot.
I should have listened to the warning.
I'm completely okay with that happening.
Yeah.
100%. I'm sorry. I'm okay with people falling off.
Oh, no.
If you're dumb enough to do that. I don't want the government coming in and regulating.
No.
Right, that's already starting to happen.
And they're trying it. But I think that the company, what was it, Niantic?
Niantic is the
the
developer.
one that's running it. I hope because they're in so many countries, they get ahead of that curve.
Right,
they get there before the regulation gets there.
Right.
So they can say, you don't need this regulation. Look what we've done. And
Well, I don't want the
people
government to get in there either, because then if that happens, then they can get on it.
Well, you said you hope they outlaw you being able to drive and play it or something.
Oh,
like
no,
that.
I was going off of his idea about the roads.
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
Well, it's already illegal.
Yeah.
I think it's illegal in Ohio to text and drive,
Or
it's
it's
at least a fine or a penalty.
Well, I'll give you a really interesting, since I told you I work at the courthouse, I'm in a juvenile division, and a lot of people, they say, well, I didn't text, or I didn't do this. And then they pull it up. People are so dumb, they think like, just because you delete something doesn't mean they can fucking find it on phone records. I get exhibits that show like, yeah, that motherfucker said this at that time, or in Facebook or text. What I'm saying is, we live in a society now where you can't get away with anything.
Right, and that's all full circle.
Yeah, it's totally full circle.
Yeah, you can. Anything that has happened is documented.
Absolutely.
It's there. You can't. You really. If somebody wants to get you on a bad enough.
Well, let's segue. What are your thoughts? I mean, what are a lot of people, and I mean, a lot of people are complaining about how it's so easy. It's a plan, as Kevin. I'll bring you back into this, like about how the geographical tracking. I mean, which is a legitimate thing. Like people said, what are they using that for? But really, essentially, aren't we already tracked?
Yeah, we're all being tracked.
We already know where
And
we're
as
at.
soon as you shut that off, as soon as you throw your phone in the toilet, that's not with you anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like, if you decide you want to walk away from that, you can still, and that's your decision. And all of us know when we sign up for Facebook, I stay away from putting Messenger on my phone forever. And then I realized I had 17 other apps that had all the permissions that Messenger wanted anyway.
And then you realize,
so I said, fuck it, because Facebook owns those companies anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, and the augmented people were like, I heard Red Band, and he pisses me off anyway. But Red Band was talking about how they're scanning everybody's houses and shit like that. I turned the AR off because I don't like the AR view. Just turn the AR off, and then you don't have to worry about them scanning.
Right. It saves your battery. It saves you hassle for trying to look all over the place.
Yeah.
The Pokemon is always right there in the middle of the screen. You're not stopping in the middle of the street and looking at somebody's bedroom window.
On the news stations on TV, I mean, they freely admit, like in those little news bumpers underneath that, Microsoft, Apple, all of them say, yeah, we have access and we can do whatever we want. Every iPhone that's linked, I mean, they can do whatever they want. And people know that. They don't give a shit.
Mark Zuckerberg, in an interview he did recently or something like that, his laptop was in the background. Was it you telling me about this?
It was a happy anniversary to Instagram, which is one of the Facebook-owned apps.
They
and
bought
so
that
he
shit.
was holding he was holding a frame that made it look like it was an Instagram picture.
Yeah.
And behind him, over his shoulder, you could see that his microphone and camera were both covered up heavily with tape on his laptop.
Do that.
Which, granted, he's a bigger target than any of us would ever be. But it also goes to show you, if anyone should be able to have control over that, it would also be him. And if he's resorting to something as simple as just slapping electric tape over his camera, then maybe that's what you should do too.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's really intriguing to me that how freedom has been dwindling, but in the most clever of ways.
Yeah,
it's like we're losing
freedom. It's not like they're stealing it. And there's a conspiracy theory podcast that we do. I don't really go with conspiracy theory. I think most of us are sheep anyway. Inherently.
I call it sheep.
Yeah. And we're doing that on our own, though. Nobody's making us, but it's all for marketing. I don't think it's for control. I think it's because they want our dollar. I don't think it's because they want
Oh, yeah. That's why Amazon, like, customers also bought, you bought this, you bought this.
Yeah.
Did you hear about maybe Kevin can find this article, but it was Target knew that a girl was pregnant, a teen girl was pregnant before her.
Yeah.
And her fucking dad was pissed off because Target kept sending them advertisements for baby shit. Yeah. And they just used the shit she was buying at Target. She didn't even know she was pregnant, supposedly.
That's fucked
And they used that shit to send that stuff to her because they saw that girls buy this when they're fucking. Yeah. So they're already doing it.
Oh, yeah. It is for marketing. I agree.
Yeah.
It's more for advertising and paying.
Yeah, they have the guns. Like, they don't need us inside view of our house. Like, most of the buildings here, because of the way building codes work, you can go to the library and find out the setup of every house on this block if you really want to. Yeah. You don't need all of that. It's already on a database somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm not really concerned about Big Brother looking in on that there so much as maybe a company seeing that I'm missing a chandelier.
Well, the argument is, I mean, I'm kind of under this argument too, is like, I don't really mind either, because like, I'm not doing anything bad.
Yeah,
like,
well,
the people that are doing you know what I mean? Like, I've seen people, like, at my work, like, say, like, I killed somebody, like, and then they use that against them. Like,
oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I forgot you worked in the courthouse. I was like, where the fuck do you do that? Tell somebody.
So my only problem with that logic, though, to me, if you apply the, like, well, okay, I don't care if you look at what I'm doing because I don't have anything to hide. To me, that's like saying, well, I don't care if you protect my right to free speech because I don't have anything to say.
I don't care if it's a company looking at me that I've given the permission to. I care about the government looking into it without my permission because that.
But that's what they're doing. Then.
Well, and see,
the NSA is doing that. But we're fighting that on it, and I don't. That's not really related to the Pokemon Go or anything like that. They're bulk collecting data. They've been doing that for years. Oh, yeah. The data that this stuff is collecting is going to marketing firms. It's not being funneled straight to them. Microsoft just came out and said that they were going to release a fully encrypted messaging, and much to the government's chagrin, they just fought a lawsuit against it and won. Well, the first lawsuit from the government they lost, and then in the appeals court they won. And instead of just caving in, which I mean, Microsoft already said that they would give stuff to the government with warrants, and they weren't really going to fight that too hard. But they went ahead and spent all this money fighting that, and took it to appeals court and won to go ahead through with that. And that's combating the government. That's not combating marketing. I think they want the stuff there available for them to sell your information. But again, if you don't want to put that out there for them, don't do it.
I mean, you have the power to live off the grid if you want.
No, you can't.
If you want.
That's the hard part about it.
Exactly.
That's the hard part.
There are so many things that if you
brought
want.
up the advertising, that's interesting to me because that's a big part of Pokemon Go. With all the small businesses lobbying, they desperately want to have those Poke shops or whatever.
Poke shops,
yeah, like they want it to be by their area so it can drive customers.
I think it's going to start doing.
They're trying to do a Pokemon Go marketing campaign.
Do not bring your cell phone to Rio.
Like you get. This to me it said more about Rio Olympics. When in ever of the history, because they've had a lot of bad publicity about the water and everything going. When and ever in your guys' memory, do you remember a time where the Olympics needed a marketing campaign to get people to go to see the fucking Olympics?
Right, it's automatic. It's tradition.
Right, it's like, oh, cool, the Olympics are back.
Yeah.
Most cities aren't prepared for the influx of people that come in. That's usually the problem, not, oh my God, can Pokemon help us bring more people to the fucking Olympics?
Well, I don't think they're more concerned about that. Like, I think it's just about money, obviously. They want more money, like the Damon Wayne shit, you know what I mean? They want that shit.
Fair enough.
They want that cash.
Yeah, I've talked to plenty of, like, small business employees and owners. I walk in, it's a Pokestop. I'm going to go buy like a water or like a snack. Or they're going to say, hey, did you catch this outside? And I'll talk to them. Earthworks Mounds out in Heath where I live. We walked into like one of the...
Now you know.
That's where I live, kind of ish. Not really.
In Kent, actually.
Maybe. But yeah, we walked into... We walked into one of the little exhibit museum places, and the lady working there was like, yeah, this is so great. You know, I've sold so many more like arrowheads and maps and T-shirts for the mounds because people just come in to use the bathroom, get water, I talk to them, and they buy something.
And that's why I'm totally pro this, because it's getting people to go to places that the internet ruined. People were going to these places.
You know what? That is a great point.
Now, hey, let's go here. I hear there's a rare Pokemon there. There's a couple Poke stuff.
That's actually really outside the box thinking. That's intelligent because like brick and mortar stores, like brick and mortar stores are being like kind of like rejuvenated by this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if they start in placing to where if you go to this shop at these hours, there's a likelihood of you catching a certain Pokemon.
Right.
Oh yeah, store owners will be like, hey, from at 1:30, I'm gonna put a lure on this Pokestop outside, and I'll pop an incense as well, so I get all the rares right here. And then you guys just come in.
Restaurants have to be booming because around there, like, obviously, without being said, like people go into a restaurant with Pokestops or whatever. They're obviously going to like, well, I'm gonna get food or a drink. They have to. They can't just walk in and be like, I'm fucking.
Yeah, you can't just like sit in the waiting room. You're gonna go get a beer or you're gonna have a food, a meal or something like that.
Can I have a water? Like,
people say you're just staring at your phone, but it's rare that you're actually looking at your phone with it. It vibrates when a Pokemon pops up.
That's what
your face isn't in your Pokemon game all the time.
That's what a few people said. Like you can put it in your pocket, it vibrates.
There's a lot. Exactly. The media's fucking it up, is what's happening. They're grabbing those little tidbits, and none of them have ever played it, or they don't.
Blowing it out of proportion in a way.
Not even blowing. They're lying. Or they're misinforming. They're saying, you can do shit when you're driving. They're saying people are walking into backyards to catch Pokemon. You can be within like a half block of the.
Well, that's the thing about that I want to talk about. It's I know they set certain landmarks to the cities you live in, correct?
Yeah,
but most of it is like randomized, right? Like.
In a way. There was a game before that I think Niantic was a part of. I believe it was called Ingress. My buddy played Ingress, and they put all the portals out there for all these like places in Ingress, and that transformed into the Pokestops.
So that was like the precursor to what?
Yeah, Ingress was definitely the precursor. Yeah, and getting into the walking and looking at your phone, I can personally say that I've been out till 3 or 4 in the morning. Hanging out again at that one place I was mentioning earlier that I won't mention again. Don't find me. But I go there, and with a couple of buddies of mine who are on the same team, we'll go there to like take a gym or whatever, just hang out. And there are 50 people just sitting there around the Pokestops, and hardly anybody is actually looking at their phone. You put your phone down or in your pocket, and then you talk to people around you. And it's like, I'm on this team.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what team are you? Oh, I'm Mystic. Well, I'm Valor. And then the shit talking begins.
Let's talk about that, what you just brought up, because it is not just, foreign exercise or the brick and mortar stores, but it is bringing people together in a way in real life.
It is.
And that's good. That is good.
It is.
Yeah, well, we were walking down the street earlier today to find a place that sold beer because thanks to the government, you can't fucking sell beer anywhere near my goddamn house.
What they do? Why is that?
I guess there's a rehab facility nearby or something
like
that.
And then you're screwed.
Yeah, so then we had to walk farther. I could have had an
almost a mile.
And then
walk a mile to Buzz.
Yeah. Under control.
Yeah, but while we were walking, some guy literally was on his phone, saw we were looking at our phones, put his phone down, told somebody to wait a second because he was on the phone with him. And he's like, hey, are you guys playing Pokemon right now? We're like, yeah. And he's like, oh, there's a Scyther right over there. We talked to him, never met him in our lives. We talked to him for probably 3 minutes. And then he gets back on the phone with whoever he's talking to.
Exactly.
See, and it's all different walks of life, too, because I read a status on Facebook where this guy who's like, one of my friends like 25 years old, and he said like this old lady was in a mail, like a post office, and like she's like, oh, there's a place right there. Like she was like 65 years old.
That's great.
Yeah, so it really does have multiple people, and it's also bringing people in that don't even play games. Like my friend, his girlfriend, like hates fucking games, hates mobile games, and is into this shit.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean,
does she also hate fun?
Yeah, she does.
She hates fun.
She hates.
But yeah, as soon as this game launched in the U.S., after we all got kicked out of the APK for Australia, immediately I was on 3 different Facebook pages. I'm in 3 different Facebook chats. I have like a Team Valor chat, and then like a Pokemon Go chat, and then like a Licking County chat. So 3 or 4 different pages, meeting all kinds of people that are around me that I had no idea were even around.
Rico, feel free to.
I want Rico's thoughts.
Yeah, sure. Rico, get in here.
I try to think of something, and then it just moves a little bit faster than what I can keep up with.
Just start talking. Just start
interject,
talking.
man. Get in there.
With this group, you're gonna have to just make some elbow.
Shut up, Noah. Stop talking.
We're some intellectual minds here. Hey, I
get a couple more.
You did.
Yeah.
whole mom, dad, son, daughter playing it all, and they were hitting all the Pokestops, and they'd stop around at the like the signs, the earthwork mounds, and read them. And like, oh, we were learning about the Indians and everything else. Yeah. Oh, cool! There's a freaking Pikachu over here. Awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if I could tie into the walking, looking at your phone, and also the paying money for it, there is a thing coming out here. Oh man, I think fourth quarter, so winter. I forget what they actually call it, but it's like a little pin, and it's a Pokeball, but it's also the Google balloon for like a map.
Okay.
And it's like a little pin. You can put it on a bracelet, put it on your lapel, and it links up with your account. You have your phone in your pocket, and the pin will vibrate when something's nearby, and it'll glow.
What?
So you touch it, and that will throw a Pokeball for you.
Now.
So you really don't even need your phone.
Oh, you know what? I can't wait till we're at the point where we have Google Glass back out.
Oh, dude.
Right?
And you're just looking and you
So yeah, this pin is going to vibrate and show colors.
In Nona, in my book, I have them where they have it fucking injected.
Oh
screen right
I've seen some Kickstarters about that.
Yeah, because that's gonna happen because they're gonna implant a screen like from here to there. You got a whole fucking wide
I've
screen.
seen it as a bracelet.
And you shake it and the screen comes up.
Dude, that's some people would be iffy about that because like, oh, it's in my skin or it's in this like implanted, but they'd be like, what if it's solar powered? What if you put it to that light or like actual sunlight?
What if it's
I can
100%
tell you,
recycled
if
plastic?
that comes out, I will be that old man that goes back. And like a few of my like favorite celebrities out there that I look up to have gone to the flip phones. I will be that guy that's like, I'm not getting that implant.
No,
if you can't make it as something I can buy and put away.
Because at least like you talked about earlier, like with yes, we know we're tracked.
Yeah.
But we have the control to either put it in the toilet or break it, like like those movies, like break the phone.
Yeah.
But if you have it there, you're fucked. Like if you take it out, you're gonna die, bleed out.
At least with the way the FDA works, you can't really have just a surgeon living on the corner to take it out. You'd have to spend a shit ton of money. Probably they make you spend more money to take it out to put it in.
Oh yeah,
because they're not making
insurance
money
premiums.
Yeah. But I see companies out there that are getting like producing products, getting them ready for the market in that kind of you'll get there. I hope they fall on their face. I really do. I don't think we're ready for it.
I know we're not ready for it, but it's gonna happen.
I don't think we're ready to buy it. I don't think the majority of people out there. I think we're all so afraid of that.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy expensive. Dude.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Maybe, but at the same time, again, that is live updates of what you're doing consistently to market to you and get your dollars. I don't think it's going to be that expensive.
Yeah, but it's also if you get in any kind of danger or trouble, it's tracking your heart rate, your GPS. They can send help immediately.
Good. You know what?
They can do that right now with your cell phone. They choose not to. We were talking about this a few weeks ago. 911 doesn't want the technology, or they won't pay the money for the technology. They'd rather spend it on drug dogs and other bullshit.
Rika's bringing up something pretty cool because, like, let's say he had a random like he went into cardiac arrest. Yeah. They could send a signal and then bam, and then they roll in instantaneous.
Yeah, it's like those old people necklaces without having to push the button. Like if you're in cardiac arrest having a seizure, you can't really grab it.
Because how many people do you think, even if they have a smartphone, like let's say they have a stroke or a heart attack or whatever, and let's say they're charging their phone or it's dead and they haven't charged it, they're fucked.
Let's go the other way, though. Let's say that the government, I speak in broad strokes here, the FBI, the police, somebody like that has been wanting to get in your house for whatever reason. I'm against the drug war. I'm okay with it if you sell and deal drugs. I want you to do that. What if the FBI or the police know that you're a drug house? Mm-hmm. Okay, so again, they get in there, and they've done stuff like this in the past. Not like that, but I mean, they've planted evidence, essentially, and that would be planting evidence. They say, oh, your heart monitor showed you were having a stroke. That's why we broke into your house.
They could fake
that kind of they could fake that kind of shit to get in there.
That would be fucking
not necessarily.
If it was a private company putting it out, no. But if you're referring to EMS,
that's who is going to be putting it out.
911 stuff like that isn't really private.
It's not. We don't have to buy 911s. I'm going to get Androids or Apples. Right.
But who is it calling?
Right. I mean, you have an Android or an Apple.
You're saying that it could be really
if you're using it, if you're using it to call public services is what I'm getting at. If you're using it to call private ambulance, exactly.
Then there should be like a steps to it. Like it's not just, oh, I'm fucking my girlfriend, my heart rate goes up. I'm gonna have the cops sent to me. It's just like, are you dying? Or
they bust in. Let's go in.
If he doesn't bust in that 5 minutes, we gotta go in.
Right. Well, I mean, there was that big, and it's still a big thing.
I get what you're saying.
Like the NSA scare not too long ago. Yeah. And then back to Microsoft and that lawsuit, the government is going to get the information from your phone and from your little chip anyway, no matter what. private company or government,
Maybe.
they're gonna get.
And honestly,
Not
like how you said
necessarily.
that,
Well, not necessarily.
Get better
but-
and better.
Yeah,
Like,
if you buy it from a company that has even close to the same morals, or hopefully better morals than the
No, it's
fucking
all
Microsoft
greed.
Companies
has.
do not
It's
have
all
morals.
greed.
What?
You don't get that big without having a significant amount of greed behind you.
Well,
Like, for
greed is
morals,
fine to me. I'm okay with greed. That's capitalist. Greed is wanting to acquire resources. In order to acquire resources, you have to work with other people to do it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I'm
definitely
okay
true.
with greed. What I'm worried about is power, and that is completely separate from greed.
Yeah.
And that if it's a government service doing this that wants the implant or anything like that, if it's fully encrypted and I trust the company, that's fine. But again, how do I know they're not going to sell me out? And that's why I'm not okay with the thing, because a different president takes over for that company and then like, actually, we love the FBI.
I just checked my chat. There is a Charizard in Newark. If anybody wants to go get it, there you go.
Oh, shit.
What time is it? What's the date?
It is not by my house. It is in Newark.
Kevin, get your phone out.
So yeah, if you're in Newark right now, take a walk, man. Take a walk.
I downloaded
Post
the app
this slide
actually
into your
while you
Facebook?
guys were
I did
talking.
not.
Oh, did you hear
I
that?
should.
Kevin Messick just downloaded that while we were speaking.
There
Well,
you go.
I didn't accept it. I downloaded it before to
What's
test
the,
it out. I
link to our
downloaded it.
YouTube?
What's that?
The link to our YouTube.
Go to my Facebook page. Go to my Facebook page, and I shared it live. Or you can go to 60 Grit Radio's Facebook page. Fuck, I'm having a burning ass.
Also find us Yacht Club search or
Love
YouTube
my man
Yacht
hands.
Club.
YouTube Yacht Club.
YouTube search Bad Dinner Guest. Yeah, Yacht Club.
With an
is the
S
other
at the
thing.
end.
Is it just on your personal Facebook?
It's on 60 Grit Radio and my
60
personal.
Okay, cool. I'll share it on your personal.
But so while you guys were debating
Hashing
the
it out.
Pokemon stuff, I went on
Purple
and
Spark.
looked up their actual privacy policy and stuff
Okay.
like that, just to see. Because again, the point I was going to interject a little later or earlier, I should say, which we talked about this before we talked about. On our last podcast, we talked a little bit about. I wrote a story called "Coming to Terms," essentially about the fact that
The
so many
fine
times
print.
we don't. Yeah, we just click accept. So how many people right now don't even realize that they are, and that's on them. You're
Yes.
supposed to read.
But they make it like that
They
because
even
it's
tell
like
you to
fucking
read it.
5 novels linked.
But exactly, but it's written in such a way that, here I am sitting here getting a fucking headache reading the privacy policy because
And they know that.
it's written in such a way to make it difficult to understand.
Right.
And so whereas you guys were talking about, like, because I am somebody who is completely against any kind of chip. I mean, my dog has a chip in him right now.
Really?
Get him out of here. Take him to work.
I've actually been called crazy by my own baby brother because I suggested the idea that an RFID chip could lead to a cashless society, which, in my opinion, would be a terrible thing because then all that happens, with all these regulations we have coming in and trying to censor the internet away from to fight terrorism and to fight terrorist
That's excuse
propaganda,
they're going to use.
then that's the foot into, that's their way into the door. And then so from there, if everything's on the internet, if all of your info's on a chip and all your banking info's on a chip, and then you're someone like me who has a podcast who calls out something that they thought was shady in the government, like,
Is he a terrorist?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Is he a terrorist? Take him off.
Yeah.
Now he can't do anything.
Yeah, fuck Kevin
I can't go to a store.
Kevin
I can't
Massey.
go to anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin Massey.
If you want to find a better, look up Newt. We already know his dog has a.
Yeah, look up.
Is his name Newt Masson?
Well, see, everybody thinks I named my dog after Newt Gingrich, which makes me mad.
Can I just say this really quick? When you told me his name earlier, I knew that you didn't name it. I knew it that you wouldn't do that.
I mean, the dog
I
kind of
know
looks
some
like
other
a
reason.
giant douche.
He is a big attention whore.
Bring it, Newt Gingrich.
Yeah, some white hairs, not as much as Newt does.
Oh,
So
man.
was it named after the fucking the lizard?
He was named so his name is Knute. He's named after an old Notre Dame football coach. He was named after Newt Rockne because I was living in a house where the dogs were named Trestle and Buckeye. And so as a non-Ohio State fan, I felt I had to represent myself in that house, and I thought. So I was like, I'm going to name my dog after a national championship coach. Now let me look through the Notre Dame champions and find which name is closest to a dog's name. And I was like, Newt Rocky.
What kind of breed is Newt anyway?
He is a pit bull chow mix.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he's like
How is he
frozen.
such a bitch?
That's why he's got that really pretty coat.
How is he such a lovely bitch?
Yeah, like to be that kind of like
He's
breed
nice.
is so submissive to the biggest
Well,
asshole
more
dog
the
I've ever
chow.
met.
Because as a
Brian's.
puppy, he was with a real life chow and then a
Okay.
shepherd, and so he was
Chows
put
are
in
mean.
line early. And then there was me. I wasn't. When you adopt a stray, you got to be a little tough at the beginning.
Kevin is pro animal abuse, is what he's getting at.
Spare the rod, spoil the dog.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just
They're
kidding.
gonna freeze his account and arrest him.
Yeah, I'm done.
Fuck.
Already.
There goes the
He's a
podcast.
conspiracy, and gotta be a-
Well, I mean, there's no better evidence than what I just witnessed in front of my computer screen. I have a touchscreen computer, and it was like being
doing some weird shit.
like it almost canceled the broadcast. I'll have to go back and edit this because there's about a minute and a half where somehow the mute button got pressed, and so we were recording, but we were recording dead silence.
No!
So I realized it was like a
The
minute or
genius
so.
is coming.
I mean, we've had such a good long conversation.
Was that when we figured out how to stop poverty and world hunger?
Yes.
Shit.
And I told you about my golden dick that I'm the only one that has
Well,
it.
you missed it, folks.
Yeah, you guys missed it.
But we just
Maybe
told
next
that
time.
I wasn't
The
editing.
cure for cancer was in there, I think, at some point.
Oh,
That's
shit.
Big Pharma
We
interrupting.
Yeah,
Podcast.
exactly. It was big podcast coming after.
Big podcast. Damn
God damn you, Joe Rogan!
Kevin,
Yeah.
I was just about to say Kevin Smith and Joe Rogan are sitting behind the computer somewhere, being like, "No, this is not happening."
Yeah.
Fuck those.
Globalists.
And I was gonna say, actually, it's probably Alex Jones.
You know what's funny?
I'm tired of this punk saying my name
You know what's
every
funny about
time
that?
he's on the air.
He said it was automatically pressing the mute and some weird shit was going on. I've been places where I've just said to like Obama and my phone goes on Siri, like President Obama, like, whoa.
Thanks,
like,
Obama.
I've done this weird thing where, so now, anytime on Sunday afternoon when I get into my car, my Google Maps will pop up and tell me that it would take me about 8 minutes to get to my friend Lou's house.
What?
I fucking had the same thing.
It will pop up on my iPhone. It'll say, and sometimes like randomly during the week, if I get in my car, it will say, it would take you 15 minutes to drive to
Oh, you
work.
know what?
I've never put my
But it's
work
a text where
address
you
in
park.
there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm
It's
saying,
actually-
yeah.
like, yeah, it's,
Are you
it's-
heading to work? Is what my phone
Yeah.
used to say, and I never told it where I worked.
Yeah.
And the initial shock factor to it is like, what the fuck? But then you get used to it. Like, that's kind of convenient. And it's
With
I don't know,
Androids, you have to
Well,
set that up.
No, I didn't
Because
initially
on
make it
my
out.
iPhone, it did
Because
it
your
on its
device,
Yeah, mine
device-
initially did it all the
your
time.
device is
No, I had to set mine up.
Yeah.
and they know what you're thinking, what you want to buy.
Yeah.
And again, I can throw that in the toilet. I choose to go along with that. It scared me a little bit, but I could go back to a flip phone if I wanted to. I'm not
Yeah.
completely against it, as long as it's not being
You'd
taken
probably
away
after
by-
the initial culture shock out of you.
Yeah, it was initially like, what? And then I was like, oh, no, it sees I parked there. It sees it's a business fucking zone.
Because with or without technology, you're gonna be you. Your personality is etched in stone. You're gonna be who you are without.
Well, it's like
reliance
we
on
talked
technology.
about this morning.
Yeah.
We're the last generation that will be able to fall back on that. For instance,
Absolutely.
my little brother
Yeah.
is 13. He had his first
All
smartphone
knows.
when he was like 9.
Yep.
Yes.
You know, so
Same here.
Yeah.
they don't remember
Yeah.
a world. We
They
can
don't.
at least go back. It might be a bit foggy at that point in time.
Right.
The older you get, it might get a little foggier, but
Back in
we at
my
least
day.
remember.
Yeah, back in
we're
my
gonna be
day.
the last
Oh,
back
yeah,
in my
we
day
used to have
generation.
Sega Channel and modems.
Because no matter how much my
Remember
phone
broadband? All I want to do is check my email and watch porn.
And then like they could like what was like
Yeah,
I see like the nipple high,
Pixel
and
by
then it
pixel.
stops. Or when it would like half the body would stop. You're like, fuck, it's
That's
the
enough.
point.
my brother will never
It's
know
all
still photo
pixelated.
porn, and I don't feel bad about him for that. You know,
You should just like yell that in your brother's face. You'll
Do you
never
realize
know
like
still photo
how hard it
porn.
was to look up porn when we were like 10
Oh,
or 11?
dude.
Like the best you
Yeah.
could find or I could find was like
3 in the morning, parents are asleep, you hack the password, you set.
Or
Took some
yeah,
effort.
Yeah.
But then,
Or-
like,
or-
it wasn't a bunch of free porn. It was
Yeah.
premium
No, it would
sites,
just
and
be
you could
little
watch, like, the
trailers.
30-second
yeah,
videos.
you could have like a
or
shitty
the,
That'd
like
be
media
shitty.
player
that
come
was before I
up,
could even beat
25
off. Like, I was just going there to look at naked
Yeah.
chicks. I didn't know what I was
25
supposed to do
second
with it.
pixelated
Touch the
video.
screen, act like I'm touching the vagina. It's so nice.
Rico over here with the gold.
That was the first touch screen.
Okay, so Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Back
Talk
on
about
subject.
whatever.
So,
yeah.
it's fine.
If I could round out that point I had earlier real fast about the pins and throwing Pokeballs for you and tracking your steps and all that without your phone being out, that's going to be $34.99 for the pin.
Okay.
And as
But
far
how
as
does
I
it-
know, that's going
You're
to
talking
be...
about the Google thing and how
Yeah, it's a pin, it's Pokeball, it's a Google balloon. You wear it, have it in a bracelet, have it on your shirt.
Wow.
It'll vibrate and show colors.
Like have like a little
It's like
screen
a watch.
on it.
No, there's no screen. It's literally.
It's a
watch thing.
Is it like a Fitbit?
It can't just.
It's
be
like a
auto
Fitbit,
catch.
but it's no big around, maybe like a quarter size
Okay.
around it. It's like
And
the bubble.
$34.99.
$34.99.
The price of a fucking
It's going to
Pro
track your
Pass.
steps. It's going to tell you. It's not going to tell you
Worth
what's
it.
around, but
It is worth it.
if there is a Pokemon near you that you've caught already,
Yeah.
it'll vibrate like a color, and then you touch it, and it throws a Pokeball, and it'll be like, "You got it,"
That's
or
what, that's what they
"Dragon
sell all the
noob."
hotcakes, dude.
Yeah, and
That
I'm
sounds
planning
like
on buying one.
gimmicky.
They've already sold out. I think GameStop is the only like registered retailer. Pre-orders are sold out
Okay.
within the first couple of days of that being announced.
I don't know. I just want one that has a screen on it, so that then whenever it vibrates, it just brings it up. And then
Yeah, but if they do that, that's gonna be
so I
way
know
more
for
fun.
sure.
Way more money, bigger. Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind
More
of like how it's just like,
upkeep,
oh,
too.
cool. There's a Pokemon nearby. I don't care what
Wait
it
a
is.
second.
I just want the XP.
How do you charge that? Is it like a lithium-ion battery in that ass?
I would
Is it
imagine
like-
since it's so
You
small,
know what I mean?
I don't
Like,
think you could like
the
charge it.
USB, like
Yeah. But again, I don't know much about it. We'll find out more as
Yeah.
more details come out. You can
Remember
probably
when
find it on the
you used to
internet
power things with AA batteries?
for 9 volts.
Yeah, like that.
Your mom gets mad at you
Well,
and
The
throws 9
fucking
volts
one
at
of
your
I
those
shit.
have
big
to,
brick
so.
batteries that would
Oh,
do
yeah.
flashlights and shit like that. I
Yeah.
about cut my house off. I used to love cutting wires and putting batteries together and shit. And
Remember
shorting
those
shit
big
out.
ass mag lights? Those black mag
Oh,
lights?
yeah,
where
you
you
could
put like
fucking kill somebody. with
Yeah.
it.
Hey, Jimmy, lick the battery to see if it's good.
One time my stepdad took a mag light and threw it or slammed it right on the fucking sidewalk. Didn't even a scratch. It was
So that's how you ended up like this.
They don't make them like
Okay.
that.
I was beaten by a mag light.
Are you a
Beating
ginger?
and
Did he beat you like a
molesting.
redheaded
Yeah.
stepchild, or were you a redheaded stepchild?
No, I'm not a red.
God damn it!
I grew into my red.
That's
I
beautiful.
flirt with red. I flirt with ginger.
I love ginger
It's all
girls.
the
Those
beard.
are my favorite girls ever. Those and Jewish girls. So you're fine.
Well then,
Back to
should
Jews.
show him my phone.
Back to Jews.
Don't
Hey,
show me.
Kevin, I'll
Hey,
show you.
She's,
Like
she's been able to hold a kid for 8
legitimate,
years.
bro.
She can.
Oh no, that's my ex-wife. That's.
Oh.
I'm more about the
That failed,
non-committal
bro.
type. If
Hey, when
they
you're
show,
34, you have a list of failures, bro.
you're 34.
Yeah.
Right on. I'll get there in 10 years.
You're only 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24,
Oh, wow.
man, 24.
Well, see, with you, I can't tell. I can't tell. Like
Scraggly.
you would go to like Cedar Point and like fucking win loads of stuffed animals. You know what I mean? Like guess you're
Fuck yeah, cleaning
Like
up.
17, 29, no.
You're like lanky and small, like you've done heroin all your life.
Yeah, it's funny
Yeah.
because I stay. That's the one like class of drugs I've
Like a
completely
poor man's
avoided. I've
James
never
Franco.
tried coke.
Ha!
Yeah, like,
I've taken Molly, which I'm sure is like cut with some shit, but it's such a low amount. I really don't
Yeah.
consider myself like using it. But yeah, I don't like to feel like I'm in a rush.
Right.
Coke's pretty fun.
Is it? I hear that.
Coke's
I'm
pretty
probably down to try a bump of it in the future, but it's the one that like the government propaganda still is in my
Yeah,
head
yeah.
the most about. And I'm just kind of afraid that I'm going to be that one guy that has a heart attack. And if I could legally smoke weed, I would just only do that and maybe take
Well,
some
that
mushrooms sometimes.
will be coming soon. I mean, there's
Maybe I've heard since I'm going to be on probation for it, even if it gets legalized, I won't be able to smoke.
$34.99, your legal
For real?
weed license.
Yeah, I've heard that it still
Premium
applies.
weed.
Again, if you have a DUI, you pop positive for
Premium
alcohol.
weed.
Even if
Premium
you're driving.
That sounds like a
Guess that
fucking
makes sense.
hipster. Man.
Pray to go. Or pray to grow.
Can that be a Jazz Odyssey band?
Premium weed. 20-minute jazz odysseys.
Yeah. With
Gotta get away from me there,
like,
guys. Sorry.
random out of nowhere, like hardcore screaming.
Yeah.
Oh, that was in stereo right there.
Oh man. Music though, music's crazy. You know what's really crazy? Pirate's Life. Pretty good.
And the Arcadia Summit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, go check those out.
Yeah, for sure.
On Circuit Music though, with Pokemon Go, do they just keep looping the same fucking thing over and over
Yeah,
again?
pretty much.
Does that drive you crazy though? Or is
Nope.
it good?
No.
Nope. I've actually been so bored one day. I was playing Overwatch, and I was just playing Pokemon Go, like have it sitting there, just waiting for something to pop up, playing Overwatch, and I put a headphone in my ear from my phone, just listening to like the.
Yeah, it sounded good from what I heard. But is it like Tetris? It's just constant loop.
Yeah, there's like the walking theme, there's like the battle theme or whatever else, but that's nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's it's good, but I don't know if it's like
annoying and it's just in your psyche. It's like
Yeah.
your subconscious after a while. Like you just, it's a
Don't
part
even
of it.
notice that it's
Mhm.
there. It's
it's
like-
almost it's
like-
almost even comforting.
Like
at
on
some
the
point.
subject of Tetris, no one has ever said "fuck that music."
No,
Like everybody
Tetris
loves that
music
shit.
is
'cause
awesome.
It's good.
Mhm. Yeah.
Look, really quick on the game. The NES, the mini NES. Remember?
Oh, the new, the mini, the one they're launching now.
Yeah, the one that they're gonna do with 30 games. You didn't hear about this? Did you hear about this, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna put Nintendo themselves, so it's not just like a hack thing. It's gonna be an NES, a mini NES with actual controller and 30 games instilled into it. They don't even have Tetris on it, dude. And it's like, what the fuck? But they have Dr. Mario on it.
Why would you have Tetris? Yeah, I heard about that, but why would you have Tetris on it? You have Tetris on your phone.
But shit.
Like,
well, okay.
Was Tetris on the NES?
Yeah, dude. It was like one of the.
I feel dumb for saying that because I had an NES.
Well, but hold on though. But the thing is, like, okay, it's gonna be how much? It's gonna be like $60, right?
Probably.
Well, like, okay. Why can't they just put out one for like $150 or $200 and they put every fucking game on there? Why?
Because they're gonna sell the game.
Because they're gonna sell it like in an SD card.
I would imagine like, oh hey, here's like 20 more, or here's like a theme pack.
Here's like 30 more for $19.99, and
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Because did you notice? Did you see the list of games?
I didn't see the list.
Okay, they put Double Dragon 2, but not 1 and 3.
Double Dragon.
Yeah.
Days.
But yeah, why would they put the second? But they put Super Mario 1, 2, and 3 on there.
Well, that's like the most popular game of all time.
But see, but that's the funny thing. Like, what if you put Super Mario 2, but not 1 and 3? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, put it all there.
It's big Nintendo, man. That's,
I love Nintendo as a company.
Did you see how much
but they're
money
gonna do
this boosted Nintendo? They were in the fucking hole.
No, that's the thing. That's interesting that you bring that up because I was talking about that last night with a group. Like Xbox and Sony, they were fucking swinging their fucking dicks around after E3, talking
their
about
little Asian dicks.
Yeah, their little Asian dicks. Like, oh, big dick, very small. Like, they talk about it.
I wish we had the visual to go with it.
Yes, yeah.
Just Google Asian penis.
Google Asian penis, the joy of the internet, right?
The South Park episode.
But the thing is, like, remember, they were all about it, and Nintendo, they were making fun of Nintendo, like, oh, you just have Zelda, that's kind of fucked up.
Zelda's great.
No, I know, I'm just saying, but that's what they were making fun of.
Right.
Amazing.
It does.
But the thing is then Pokemon comes up, and it's just like, they fucked everybody. Nobody even talks about.
I didn't think Pokemon Go was gonna come out for a while, and then out of nowhere, my roommate came in, threw the door open. He was like, "I just sent you a link. Download Pokemon Go. It's the Australian one." I was like,
okay, are we all gamers here? I know you play games, Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay, do we all play?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about that because the ramifications of Pokemon Go, they're changing the industry. People are. I know mobile gaming was big. After this. Oh yeah, because yes, there's always going to be PlayStation 4, and we'll keep going up, or when they keep building the new ones.
Right.
But it's just like the fucking mobile shit is essentially by you interacting with actual environments outside. It's changed everything because you can't do that with the Xbox.
I think it's going to carve out its own niche. I don't think it's going to take over. No, I still want to go home. I don't want to play Rainbow Six on my cell phone.
Absolutely.
And like rooms with my fucking cell phone.
You need that processing power of your
even processors will be there if they're not there already. I want to be able to sit on my couch and unwind. Or I play it, and a lot of times I play it and I'm listening to fucking news or something like that in the background, things like that. I don't want to be interacting.
Mobile gaming, phone or DS, Vita, whatever, will never take over console.
It will always be a niche.
Right, and it was
going to grow it. It's definitely going to grow it.
This game will grow it.
This is definitely
mobile gaming has died down a lot in the past years.
It's almost like crazy how this hasn't been done. Maybe the technology wasn't there yet.
That's what I think it was.
It was just the timing.
It was the only time I ever bought mobile games was Pokemon. Like the Vita had, I think the most popular game on Vita was like the God of War games, and then Dragon Hunter was there, or Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter. But the only time I ever went out and bought a mobile game was like I would go out and buy the special edition DS and then the Pokemon game. That's all I would get.
Yeah. Well, and like home consoles, you kind of really on computer or that you have to play first person shooters on there. Well, like you can't really do that on phone. Like
I thought you were gonna say like you have to play FPS. Like on a mobile, it's stupid hard.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah. Like the COD 4 for Vita was ridiculously difficult just because the graphics were bad. It was janky because it's mobile. Processor.
What would be cool to see occur, and like there's the fucking like laser tag arenas and shit like that now. What would be cool is you plug your phone into, I don't know if you've seen Google Cardboard or is it Amazon Cardboard? It basically turns your phone into a VR headset. Okay. And what would be cool is you bring your own phone into these places. Yeah. And if you and your group of people decide that this place is going to be designed in a certain way with a certain layout, that's how it's designed. And you know what I mean? So you all would use this warehouse space or something like that to build your own first-person shooter.
They have those PS VR headsets in Best Buy right now.
Yeah.
Where you can go check it out. That PlayStation
is the Sony VR Project Morpheus?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Into that.
Yeah, I've seen videos of that. It looks really good.
Yeah, they're gonna have a lot of games.
But
there's always going to be a market, is what you're saying, for everything.
Yeah, like Netflix and stuff, they're finding that it hasn't taken over the market for like regular media on your TV. People have actually added to the amount of media they're taking in every day for it. So they haven't like walked away from their local stations and all that shit there for the Netflix. They've just found the time for the Netflix and shit. What pisses me off is that people say they don't have time to read, but they've overall found, I think it's 30, maybe 45 minutes or something like that a day they've managed to find to squeeze in the Netflix on top of it.
Yeah. I gotta go to work in like 30 minutes.
Well,
I'll watch American Dad.
People that say they hate reading or don't like reading, that's all we do on our fucking phones.
Right.
Text.
Yeah. But
of everything.
That's reading.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I've said that to people that it doesn't count. How the fuck doesn't it count?
Doesn't count.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
It doesn't. You know.
If you're reading text messages, you're still basically only having conversations. You're only happening in your own little world.
Okay. Yeah.
When you're reading,
I mean, it's different when you have a novel.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you took that book right now, and like, it's different than you having your phone.
But what I love with my job is I can have headphones in all day, and I listen to audiobooks, shit like that. Because I love
it. You said you worked at a warehouse.
Well, before now I install cable. So when I'm driving, or now when I'm riding, because thanks Uncle Sam, or when I'm out at a customer's house, unless I'm interacting with the customer, which most of the time they leave you alone unless you're telling them how to use whatever you install at their home. I can be listening to that stuff. I could not be reading a book at the same time. So I might not take in as much information. But I listen to Dan Carr's Hardcore History, guys. It's phenomenal. It's like a 3-hour-long podcast, and like the one I recommend to everybody to start with is this thing over World War I, because it's the thing people know the least about, that's current enough that they've heard a little bit about to interest them.
Okay.
I've listened to that 2 times through now because I don't pick up all the little shit, because sometimes my thoughts go somewhere else and then I come back into listening to it.
Yeah.
Or I get in the middle of fucking trying to get signal on a satellite dish, so I'm not really paying attention there. So I don't get all of it, but I have that time there that I'm wasting doing stuff that I have muscle memory for. So I'm picking up little bits here and there, and every time I listen to it, I grab more. And that's time that is wasted otherwise. And most people on my salary level have those kind of jobs where they don't have anything to do with their mind at that point in time. Yeah. And it is muscle memory to do whatever their job is. So they can utilize those things. So I'm not so against people not reading now if they're still seeking information, and that's basically all I want people to do.
Podcasts are very informative.
Yeah. But, podcast, by the way.
60 Grit Radio. Check us out.
If I can chime in on the books for a second, I don't read often. I'm a very niche.
He's
reader.
Actually illiterate.
Yeah, I'm a very niche reader. It has to be like really good fiction, like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, stuff like that, or history. And when it comes to like fiction, I really don't like to read the book because I don't like to have my own open interpretation of what's going on. Yeah. Like, I will cite Game of Thrones right now, hard, because Game of Thrones is great. Watch it. Before I started reading the books, I didn't read the books exactly. I did the audiobooks for Game of Thrones, and I did a lot of research on like the story and everything. A lot of research on like the lore and everything else, and I listened to them knowing exactly what George R.R. Martin wanted in his books. Because when it comes to fiction, I really feel like the author put everything he is into that, and I don't want to read it and then take away from what he was trying to like implant, you know?
That dude like writes his books on like MS.
Right. So I listen to audiobooks and I do the research, and I like to grasp what the author was putting into the book instead of having the free interpretation.
Right on. So you like movies? No, I do mostly nonfiction.
That's
so
very rare. I've never really heard a person say, "I don't want my open interpretation."
I
don't want.
I do enjoy I do enjoy open interpretation in something, but when it comes to like a book that someone has a fictional tale that someone has spent years writing.
Yeah.
J.R.R. Tolkien spent his whole life writing Lord of the Rings.
Absolutely.
Did all kinds of stuff. Wrote 5 or 6 elven languages. All that. I want to grasp what he had in mind.
That's actually refreshing because most people are the style of they want to tell the writers how to do it. Like, I should have done that.
No, but the author wrote the book. I want to know what he wanted.
What they envisioned.
Yeah.
But
hang on. I want to jump in here real quick.
Yeah.
So wait, so you're saying you don't want to read the book so you'll get a better interpretation of.
I feel like if I'm reading the novel, my mind tends to wander more, and I'll imagine different things.
Okay.
And I lose focus on what's happening, and I end up just like reading.
So my argument against that is like, let's say for instance, have you watched a Stanley Kubrick film? Have you seen The Shining?
I've seen The Shining. I've seen name some others.
The Shining is
That's
a
a
film.
good
Every
example.
Stanley Kubrick book or film is based off of a book, which is the overlaying thing I'm getting at here. But The Shining, for instance, Stephen King hates The Shining.
Yep.
Stephen King wrote the book. Stanley Kubrick in all of the Clockwork Orange was a book. 2001: Space Odyssey.
I've seen those two as well.
Okay, so both of those based off books, and he was notorious for saying "fuck you" source material. I'm gonna do what I want. So, for instance, The Shining, I love the book more than the movie because it's a completely different story. What you don't get from the movie is that Jack Torrance is haunted by the ghost of his father throughout the entire book. You get a lot more on the backstory of
alcoholism,
what he did to the student that got him into this situation. You find out a lot more about his demons. Mm-hmm. There are some other major differences as far as like who lives and who dies at the end.
child.
But so what all I'm saying is depending on who, if you don't read the book, then you're just subjecting yourself to the director's interpretation.
Well, that's fair as well.
For instance, Blade Runner, the author had made the book, was dead by the time the movie came out.
But
what you got was Ridley Scott's interpretation. What you got was what Ridley Scott saw when he read, not what Philip K. did.
That's fair.
But also, a lot of people close themselves off, and they don't even know that The Shining is a book.
You see, I'll admit to that. I had no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
But again, I will go back and read The Shining. Absolutely. And when it comes to movies like that, yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm opening myself up to a interpretation of a book. But again, I will respect Stanley Kubrick for doing everything he did and his interpretation of what The Shining is.
Right. I get what you're saying as far as you're
right.
putting it in,
But also,
safer hands of your own. But I'm just saying you're not guaranteed to get the author's.
That's very true. That's very true.
But also, too, an author intentionally wants you to interpret it the way that you want.
Right.
So
I understand that as well.
Like, hold your the reader's hand and say, well, this is exactly how it means.
Well, it depends on the writer.
Depends on
and see, whatever that says about me and my psyche, let it say.
Yeah.
But the author wanting me to get my interpretation, that's fine. I find that those books are out of my niche.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Did the author of The Shining not give him creative license?
Well,
no,
Stephen King.
Stephen King had a script. There's a television miniseries. It's a 3-part movie based on the actual script that Stephen King approved. Okay. Stanley Kubrick just didn't meet Stephen King's approval at that point.
Oh, really?
He was Stanley Kubrick at that point was the dude. And once the film theater, a lot of people that's what they don't understand about how hard it is to get there. 80% of movie scripts that are purchased don't even get made.
Right.
Yes.
The studio just wants the rights so that no one else can make the money instead of them.
Developmental hell.
Once you, and as the writer, you get the smallest cut. You get about 5% of the movie's budget goes to the guy who came up with the idea. And so at that point, he just went against the creator's ambitions, and that's why that's why there's a miniseries. That's why it's becoming a television series. That's why Stephen King is trying to get it made as a different movie. Okay. He, of all the people who love Stanley Kubrick, and I'm one of them, Stephen King is anti-thesis of that. He hates Stanley Kubrick.
So he didn't give him the rights to it?
The rights were bought by the studio, and then the studio hires the director, and then the director tosses the script aside and says, "This is what I'm going to do."
Okay, I got you.
And basically wrote his own version of the script, because what The Shining turned into, what Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining is. What you're seeing, Jack and Danny are both Stanley Kubrick. Yeah. And Jack is Stanley Kubrick. Danny is Stanley's creative side and his ambition to create and be a good person. And Jack is what he had to become in order to make Hollywood movies. And that is the message that he's putting out across. That has nothing to do with The Shining's original message of being a haunted place anyway. Yeah. It's all about the psyche, really, of one man as opposed to a haunted house.
Is he going to like Netflix for the series? FX?
You put me on the spot there.
The reason I ask is because I like that companies like Netflix out there are giving the control to the writer.
Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go. Fuck yourself.
You can be a self-funded, self-filmed kind of
Kickstarter.
Yeah, well, not even just Kickstarter, but if you can make the product however you make it, Netflix will put it up there.
Yeah, or Hulu.
And you get that money. It doesn't get sent to that kind of thing there. And if that would have existed.
Well, you know what? He may do that
King.
route again because he did, what's that one book that they turned into a series on Hulu with James Franco, 11/22/63 or whatever?
Yeah.
Remember that? They did a miniseries there, Stephen King, about JFK and going time travel back to stop his assassination.
How do you stop like 17 different gunmen?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I haven't read the book, but I've heard it's very intricate. Like, it does talk about the conspiracy of what really happened, so I don't know.
But
Interesting.
it's in the minimal amount of fiction I've read, because again, I stick to nonfiction just so I can be ready for things like 60 Grit Radio. Check it out. Different books out there give different amounts of detail. So, like, the Da Vinci Code was very intricate in all the small little details of everything that things went through. Lord of the Rings, that kind of thing, there is very intricate. Some of them, like Aragon per se, again, you can tell I only read books that were nonfiction fiction when I was like 18, 17, and 16.
I read those.
Books like those, they left more to your own imagination.
Yeah.
So you get that like kind of choice there with it.
They transport you to a very fantasy-based
Yeah, and then
world.
they give you the outline for it, and it's on you to kind of give voice and all that kind of stuff to it. So you can be a racist and still read it or not. It's up to you. That's kind of what I liked about that kind of thing there. And you were saying your niche is more the things that spell it out and make it very detailed for you. I like the things that leave it on to me because that lets me escape. I read more when I was reading when I was reading fiction. It was more for me to get away from whatever.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Things were.
You read the fiction so that you could escape and put yourself into that world.
Well, I think that's why
and I like to know exactly what's happening, and I don't like to be like, oh, well, there's this character, and I think of him this way, and then it turns out the author was like, no, fuck you, that's not exactly, that's not anything that I wrote.
And GOT became so massively popular is because of that.
Yeah. Now your book, you don't have a real protagonist. That's what you were saying, right? You don't
I mean, there are ones like Kevin. When you say there are some that flirt with a protagonist, there are some that are made characters more so than others. Like what it does is it goes back, it dips back to other characters in their life. I'll let Kevin take this because he read it.
And then there's some characters that are connected. So and it's done from a certain each little
it's all done
spot,
in third person.
Yeah, but it also at the same time comes technically usually from one character's point of view.
Yes.
So it's got that third person narrator, but at the same time it's like you're mainly focused on one person per chapter or per app. And so which was what I liked about it was it gave you the opportunity, because there's no set in stone because there is no set in stone protagonist, that it gives you the opportunity at any certain point in the story to find the character that you relate to.
I feel like the way the book is set up is that apps instead of chapters.
Yeah, there's 20.
It feels like in every, well, from what I understand, it feels like in every app there is a protagonist, main character, and they are also almost also their own antagonist.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's talking about the human condition. And
so
there are no good guys and bad guys. Like Kevin, we were talking on the phone a few days ago, where it's not hand holding as in, hey, this guy's bad or good. You should like them or hate them. It's just showing how life is.
So do you get to pick? Because when I read a book, I find myself, if I get into the book, I find myself trying to relate to the protagonist
of the book. Oh, yeah, you definitely will do that.
So do you get to pick in your book who you want to relate with? Or is it set up to, this is the person that I'm trying to get you to feel?
I think in the first app, you'll immediately relate to one of them. Like, the guy is, like, bitching at his girlfriend for not, like, just being on her phone all the time.
I got you. No.
But, yeah, I mean, like I said, the opening line is, to her, the glow of the screen was intoxicating. And she's just in bed like this.
That's funny you say that, though, because a lot of the reason, like, there's been some studies done on why we're so attracted to our phones. And naturally, as animals, we're attracted to the light.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I buy so much as that's why we like our phones. I think they're stupid convenient.
Right.
And it's that instant gratification that comes along with them. But it's cool that you bring that up, because it's definitely out there in the zeitgeist of reasons we're attracted to it.
Well, it's funny because too, you're asking about the setup too. Is it really does go everywhere? Like the way it sets up is app 1 is that the night before it happens, and then app 2 jump cuts to a teenage girl, like 16, 17-year-old girl, that discovers that it's out and it's shut down. But she's like, how it's connected is she's like a few doors down neighbor of the couple from the app 1. It's like,
is she hot?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's mainly what I care
That's
about.
up to you.
Yeah, somebody in the book says she's fuckable. No,
Okay.
hot
No,
with them?
as long as she's a redheaded Jew.
but it all like Kevin was talking about, it's interconnected. But then it's very the good marks, the really good marks I've had, because it has been when you say the general consensus is it's been a very positive. People have responded very positively.
Yeah, so a lot of the negative stuff is normally either from people who just don't see this as being a possibility, like people that are just like, if the internet went away, only Kardashians and teenagers would care. Like,
which is irrelevant.
I would care.
I would absolutely.
And I am not a Kardashian.
I would not know how to drive around anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was the argument I made.
Is
how many of those people who swear they don't need the internet, when they started their new job last month, I bet they use the GPS
turn here.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's exactly. Like, you'd like to think you don't need the internet, but right after you were done typing this review, I bet you went on your smartphone and checked your bank account. So you swear you don't need the internet, but like, I don't think you realize how often you use it. I equated it earlier today was like, I equated your smartphone to being like having a debit card.
Yes.
Whereas like, it's easier to track mentally your internet usage if you were only using it on a laptop. Like, you think about how often you have to come to your computer. But with the smartphone, it's more like having a debit card, where like the laptop would be cash, where it's a lot easier for me personally to spend $80 on a debit card and be like, fuck, did I really spend $80 today? But like, if I have cash in hand every time I make a transaction, exactly. Like, how often have you forgotten that you stopped at a gas station 3 times in one day? And it's the same thing with your smartphone.
Yeah, last weekend I went out drinking and it was like, oh, debit card. And I got home to my bank account.
Fuck, I'm in the red.
$120 just on booze.
Yeah.
How did I spend that much money?
Exactly.
What
It's the same thing.
Just get a six-pack for $10.
I was just gonna say, it's the same thing with the web.
Not enough.
You know, you don't realize how often you're checking your phone. We were
Yeah.
talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
He did a little experiment at work where, knowing what time it was, he asked his coworkers what time it was, and knowing that there was a clock
I knew
right
there was
in
a
front
clock
of
there,
him,
but I tested.
knowing where the clock was and everything, he would just test them out. And not a single one of them looked. They all pulled their phones out of their pocket to check what time it was.
Even if I had a digital watch.
When I wore a watch.
You're so ingrained.
Yeah.
You're so ingrained. It's an app. It's a part of you. It's a limb. It's an extra limb.
It is. It is.
I've thought extremely about switching to the flip phone. If it wasn't for my job, I definitely would, just because I want to see what that's like. When I was in jail
You can still get
for
GPS
3
on
days,
those
or 2 days really, I don't understand how the government
You're a little
calendar works, but when I was in jail for 2 days, every like fucking hour or so, I'd go to reach in my fucking jail clothes for my fucking cell phone. Like, I knew I didn't have it. It was just
addiction.
that fucking my hand went there. I'm like, what? Oh, I'm looking for my cell phone. I also look for my wallet, but we're so exactly like it's
like
that
Siri.
fucking
You're holding a
attached.
cigarette now.
I'm holding it backward, and it still makes me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Same.
Have you had the phantom vibrations?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got rid of it by not holding it
Did
in
my
my
phone
pocket.
vibrate?
Yeah.
Like I said, I work at fast food, and I will wake up in the middle of the night because I swear to God I heard that ticket printer go off.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I know that game.
Or
I've
what
had
about-
nightmares about it? Yeah.
People come into work, and if they're so cloudy in the morning and they forget shit, they'll forget their phone. They'll leave and they'll go get it.
Yeah.
They'll use vacation time or get in trouble to get their shit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
never did that.
Yep.
A couple times I forgot it, but it was miserable.
Yeah.
It's fucking because you use it for
You
everything.
feel like you're not a part of life.
Yeah,
like you're off the grid completely.
but
I feel naked.
So, like, back to your book, you have like 1 or 2 characters per app, right?
Sometimes.
Well,
more,
1 or 2
yeah.
characters of focus.
Yes.
is there any character that carries through the entire book?
Oh yeah, a lot carry through. Actually,
He said they were all kind of linked.
yeah. Actually,
So it's just-
what it is I would akin this. I think Kevin would agree with this. Is so it keeps building and keeps building. There's an overall theme and a storyline going, a mythos, if you will, throughout the whole thing. But then App 19 is like 40 pages long, and it goes to all the other characters, like mini stories in that one app of all the characters. And it brings it all together.
Yeah, it's
And then-
20 apps long.
Yeah, and it's really I don't spend, my style is I don't spend like 3 or 4 pages like a George R. R. Martin like describing what the fucking like sheen of armor looks like. I keep it moving.
Hey man, that armor is.
No, but I have a very descriptive. But you know what I mean, Kevin. Like Tamara told me, my style is it's very descriptive, but right to the point. Keep it moving.
I like that because I hate a book
Yeah.
or a movie or anything like that assumes I'm too stupid to work those
see, the
little
thing
details
is,
out.
absolutely, and the thing is the people that have
No,
No, you're good.
The funny thing about NoNet is even like okay, I've had 4 bad reviews out of 25 so far on Amazon, but
wait till I read it.
but what's fascinating is that none of them, the ones that hated on it or whatever, they still at the end of it, I don't know if Kevin read this, but they at the end of it said, well, I look forward to seeing what happens the next one. I want to know what's happening. So, okay, you're saying it like I'm pissed because it incites anger in you because some of the people that are in denial about their usage, it's confrontational with that.
So even though they didn't like it, they were still invested enough that they want to go further.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's a great book. Even if you don't like it, you still want to see where it ends up.
But they can't realize it.
Yeah.
They can't realize that.
That was my goal. I wanted to piss you off to that extent. Like, that's a good review, man.
Exactly.
Like, change your stars.
Yeah,
You realize what you're saying.
Yeah, there have been 1-star reviews where they're like, clearly he has an idea and I want to see where he's going. So hopefully in the next entry, we'll get answered. Okay, if I didn't give you the answer, okay, the main thing is...
This doesn't make it bad.
The main spoiler is and it's not even a spoiler because we just kind of like tease
need
around.
A spoiler alert button.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah, like Austin Powers. Like, but the thing is like, okay, the internet, the mystery of it vanishing is not fully explained. Yes, there is some teasing and theories. In fact, there's an app, which is one of my favorite apps. It's app, I believe, 16. Yeah, app 16. Where they're
Who really wrote this book?
But there's an app where they're in like a Internet Blackout 101, and it's a meeting of a conspiracy theorist, and they're sharing their theories of why it went out. And there's like 5 dudes that say, "Oh, it's aliens. Oh, it's like the radio, or it's terrorism." But there's one theory that is the theory, and I put it in there. And for the next book to say, I have a plan here, because that's another thing I was accused of. Like, I don't know if he knows where this is going. I don't know where this is going.
So it's not aliens or terrorism.
No,
or the third one you mentioned.
No,
so pay attention to that.
Pay attention to the other 2.
It's actually the cure to cancer we were talking about earlier. It's all connected.
What if I told you Pokemon Go was invented by dogs?
Yes, but see, the thing is if you read the reviews of it, a lot of people did get it, and they loved how, it really was forward-thinking in the approach. But a lot of people didn't like how it didn't hold your hand and spell it out for you. Like, okay, the point of the book was not to tell you why it went out. Who the fuck cares? The point is, if it went out, what would you do?
You're not going to know.
Question.
Yeah, you're not going to know.
It's like Twilight Zone. Sometimes Twilight Zone, they would have a big mystery, and they'd have a twist, but they wouldn't necessarily explain everything.
Yeah,
Who cares?
That's
what makes it good.
Most, I get dogged pretty heavily because a lot of mine have an ambiguous ending, because I like it to be sort of, I like to kind of leave you at the cliff.
Yeah.
It's like I like to leave you
Coming
right
to
there.
terms was exactly like that. It gave you enough to know what was
about to happen, but it doesn't finish it for you. Where it's just like I kind of leave you right in that climactic moment.
But see, you could think
not letting me finish.
You could visualize the world and be enamored in that world. That's what I try to do with that. Like, you can live there.
I like
literary blue balls.
Yeah.
And that's good.
I don't like that.
I
like to come at the end of a book, but I don't need to know why I came. Like, that makes sense. I'm okay with there being open-ended questions throughout the story. I still need it to come to a conclusion in everything I've read so far. Now, or a series, I shouldn't say a book should end, because in a series, it's not always going to answer the questions. But at the end of that, in my mind's eye, at least, I want a definite resolution to it all. I don't need to know all the answers to. You can leave that to my imagination as to what was going on in the background.
That's the thing is when my editor read the final app, like app 20, she said that's the only way that could have ended, because it does end in a very there possibly couldn't be a sequel. Like, if I die right now, you'd be satisfied. It's a full circle.
It wasn't meant. It wasn't. It was really to be enjoyed on its own, not just as like here's
But there are a few teases like, yes, I think it could happen, or I see where he's going. Actually, the last app is called Where We're Going.
Okay.
Because the last 3 apps are called what it was like, what it is like, where we're going. So there you go. And the way that it ends, but there's a big, and Kevin got this, but there's a big lesson at the end to show how separated we are from them. I think a lot of people pointed out that, well, I don't think humanity is that, they would be a little more compassionate. Well, not really, because we're all selfish beings.
To an extent, look at how compassionate we are. Now, I mean, it doesn't take long. Like, for instance,
there'll be riots in the streets.
Yeah, and I'm not saying. I'm just saying on a broader spectrum of things, it would get kind of.
We're the most social animals that exist,
and that's why if you strip that away, it would fuck.
That we know.
But yeah, and in order to be social, there has to be compassion there.
Well, girls, like teenagers, have, and this was before Pokemon Go. So
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
It's essential Pokemon Go.
You said teen girls, and I was interested.
You were like engorged with blood below the belt. But anyway,
sweatband problems.
But anyway, like there have been like kids, like teenagers that have killed themselves because their parents have punished them and taken away the only thing that they care about, which is their phone. And like there have been reports of girls that have like killed themselves. Is that crazy? Like, what the hell? Like, why?
Something like it's some validation.
Yeah, and that's all we're
a good point.
as
good point, Rico, with the gold.
Like martyr, yeah.
Come in and
Rico's that
one-liners, but they're gold. One-liners, but they're gold.
You got
like
Rico
a dad
show.
joke.
You guys should have your own show and you talk the whole time, and then Rico just says a few things like,
Fuck, there goes my whole
like,
point.
The whole podcast, just power slam you on the mat.
Oh man! So where can you buy your book?
I can right now. I am sending to publishers and trying to figure that out. But right now, you can either buy it from me directly or go to Amazon.
Where's your house?
Yeah,
I will tell you now.
What's your address again?
Actually, on the
Already
subject of that, I did something that I don't think anybody has done. And my friend Justin said I'm a crazy fucker for doing it. I put my actual phone number in there. I had a character say, "This is my number. Call me," and that's my real number.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah. So you can just go to Amazon or whatever and get it.
Jones Nichols.
But just a heads up, just maybe in a week or so, Amazon gives you the option. You can't put your book for free all the time. You only do it in like 3-month or 4-month bursts for 5 days.
Okay.
Up to 5 days. So in about a week, because you've seen when I put it on for free every once in a while.
I don't understand. Go ahead with your thought.
Yeah. But you basically, if you want to read it, you can get it for free like in about a week and a half.
Nice.
But I'll add you guys on Facebook, and then you'll see the post.
Cool. Well, you're leaving the copy behind anyway.
Yeah.
So why undercut yourself? $1. People will spend $1 on these fucking stupid apps.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I have made money. I mean, like, I've had I've sold about 1,000 copies.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
But when it goes free, dude, it gets wild because people grab it because, well, first of all, like the cover does intrigue people because they're like, what the fuck is that? That's not a normal novel cover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
what is the asking price of it currently though?
It's for the ebook. It's like $2.99, and I believe
an arm and a leg.
Yeah, and it's almost 400 pages, and I guarantee you, like, you will laugh or think of something intriguing if you read this book.
Now, is that a money back guarantee?
I guarantee you, if you don't laugh one time in that book, well, I mean, I read you that one part.
I smiled.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If you don't laugh, but it gets crazy. There's some crazy parts in the book.
Yeah.
Specifically, App 6 with Kirk and Lily.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts.
Do they fuck?
No, it's just
Does
like
he go
it's a white trash couple in an apartment complex.
So they do fuck Road
No, they don't.
They did.
I mean, you might not be in that scene,
I'll
but
just
it
say that
definitely
there's something with the knife and a watermelon. That you'll like.
Okay.
So anyway,
most good parties end that
absolutely
way.
with a knife and watermelon. But so and then the paperback that is like $12.99.
Okay.
And then that's it.
With you offering it for free, the only thing I would ask is if you haven't already set up something. There's several websites. Kickstarter's not good and GoFundMe isn't good because you have to reach the limit or whatever to get the money.
Yeah.
But set up something so if somebody reads it and they like it, they can give you money for
Like
it.
a Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon.
Like
That's the website.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I was thinking about doing because well, actually, Kevin knows this because he supported it even though it failed and the money didn't get taken.
Yeah.
But there was a
Kevin.
Kickstarter to fund
My money
the
was
artist.
on the table.
Yeah, the artist that did this originally, and he has the original. He could show you.
Yeah.
But it was even more ambitious. There were like 20 fucking sketches inside.
Yeah,
to
each
coincide
app,
with each app.
each app had its own
But
photo, like the by the same artist as the cover artist.
And they were great. It was
so
great.
That's why I don't let anyone borrow my copy.
Because it's very rare.
Because it's rare now, and I actually have the one with all the pictures in it.
And the only reason why
you're gonna have to go buy one.
And the only reason why I stripped that out was because it was confusing people. They were literally in their reviews saying, "Well, I'm confused which character that is in the fucking art." They were looking at the art and assuming like, "Oh, well, that's that certain guy, is it?" No, it's not that guy.
Well, shit, maybe give that one for free, this one for free, and then
that.
offer. The only reason I was saying is so people, if they can download your book, we can give a link for that so they like it. Because I'm a fan of BitTorrents because all the bands are having to deal with the fact that it's out there right now.
Yeah.
So where they're getting their money now is from live shows, which is where it should come from, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. Well, people have no problem pledging a few dollars here and there.
Let me listen to it and tell you if I think it's worth my money.
Well,
I'll give it to you.
I will guarantee you can listen to A Pirate's Life and love it.
There you go. I'm going to check that out when I go.
Yeah.
But,
and that is a money back guarantee.
It's free.
You say it's like Irish punk.
No, it's
Irish punk rock.
Yeah, I like that. I'm down for that.
Good to hear.
Okay, so like, I didn't mention the actual figure of Kickstarter because that's interesting that you bring up that venue because that was no joke. When I was starting out, the goal was to get $3,000 to pay him to get an audiobook paid for, but now I realize I'm just going to do the audiobook myself with the editor. So I set it at $3,000. If you don't get to that goal within a month or so, you don't get any of the money. And then, so Kevin put in $50. They didn't charge him because I failed, but I got $2,500 fucking dollars.
That's good.
Yeah, so I was there. I was close.
But what I don't like is that you didn't get that money because of failure. That's why I like things like Patreon and shit like that. Because you know your product's good.
Yeah.
You assume that even if fucking 1% of the readers like it enough to give money or that have the fucking morality to be like, I enjoyed that. This man produced something that I enjoyed.
Patreon tonight.
Please do it.
Put in $2.50 or something.
Yeah, no
doubt.
the
first one.
I will be.
Well, that would actually help
people
pay
need
for
to,
like art because, dude, I won't even tell you the figure of that, how much that costs. But basically, essentially, a front cover or really good art costs about, to get a good $300 to $500 ballpark. Then you have to pay the editor, and that's like $300 to $400.
Yeah.
And before you know it, per book, and I have like 30 ideas. So yeah, you're thinking per book, $1,000 maybe.
Yeah, and that
just to put
isn't small change. I mean, some people start to blow up.
Yeah, I mean, well, because like you see like people on Fiverr or like shitty sites pay for like $10 things. If you look at this isn't like shitty looking. You know what I mean? But you do see shitty books. You're like, oh, they put $10 in. Basically, if you believe in yourself and your product, why wouldn't you try to put as much time, money, and effort into it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
So I agree with you about the Patreon. I mean, even if it were because there's this podcast, another podcast.
That's not 60 Grit Radio?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to do that. But there's this podcast that I like called Oh Yeah Dude. And it's just two guys in Los Angeles talking about, what they're saying is America through the eyes of two Americans. And what it is they started a Patreon and they didn't think that they were going to get anything. It would turn out, and obviously I would never get this, but they had a following, but they ended up getting over $10,000 per month.
Yeah.
And so even if I got, and I do know I have supporters, even if I got maybe like, 100, 150, that would help subside my own costs for like editing and art and like all that shit.
Yeah. We were talking about a currency-free society. The reason I like Bitcoin is because there's no transaction fees. So you could literally give you 15 cents for that book, but if 1 million people did that, you're still doing all right. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to make anybody rich, but you have a lot of fucking time invested in Nomads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the money on top of your time. Yeah. People out there, especially listening to you talking about it later, and after they read it, they're going to realize how much time you put into it, things like that.
Well, if you put 250, he put 250, all four of you, that's 10 fucking.
Right?
That's math right there. 5 times 420, carry over 2,
But if it went viral, you don't even need that 250 because we're in a globalist society. You don't need somebody. Literally, somebody could give you 25 cents, and it still means something to you at the end of the day because it's going to support the And if there was things that, the problem is the transaction fees with credit cards, and then somebody else has to get a cut of it. But with Bitcoin, it literally eliminates both of those middlemen. So they're literally giving you that 15 cents of Bitcoin,
Give me back that 15.
and then you get it.
that I never got.
So you don't need everybody out there to give you $2.50 or
Yeah.
$10. So I mean, NoNet's a pretty decent sized book. So maybe
Yeah.
they'll give you more for that because it's taking more of their time out.
Well, I think
But
I
for
was
a
smart
podcast
too.
or something like that that's only taking an hour, give me 10 cents. If I have a fucking, you're still compensating me, and that's
Right.
perfectly fine. But
'Cause
the
it is
problem we have
very
now is all the
time-consuming.
regulations keeping that from happening.
Yeah, like that rap that I read earlier, that didn't just take like 2 seconds to write. It took a while to like string it along and make it, tight.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Oh, so you're not that good.
Oh, well,
Call you out.
I am naturally a Caucasian, so it's hard.
It's really easy to tell that a
Okay,
white guy
I'm
wrote.
sorry. What's that?
I said no offense, but it's really easy to tell that a white guy wrote both of those.
Absolutely, yeah.
No,
That's
that's
why we have
okay.
Rico.
I thought of it more of as a parody.
Well, that's the funny thing that you said parody, because that's what it's supposed to be in a way. No,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be satire and parody
Right.
as well.
I
I'm not
just
supposed to be like real on the streets. You know what I mean? Like I'm a student of the game and I appreciate hip hop, but I obviously couldn't spit like that. I don't fucking do it. I would be like that writer for the rapper.
Freestyle
Say
right
that
now.
like, huh?
Let's do Caucasian versus
Oh
Rico.
shit, dude.
Freestyle right here, right now.
Shit.
Weak palms are
I
sweaty.
don't
with my dude.
hold on.
Moms,
You want to hear something funny?
Bars for my dude.
Mom's spaghetti.
Can I read you? It's not technically. It was a freestyle that I honed, but I will read a freestyle.
Well, that's not a freestyle
So it's not
anymore.
a
No, but it was a freestyle. But I'm gonna read it
This is
because I
cheap.
can't remember it.
I came
No,
out there.
no.
I'm not even a rapper.
Yeah.
Rico is ready
I'm not
for
a
you, man.
rapper.
I am
Rico's
not a
ready
rapper.
right for the first time. Rico's
Yeah.
ready to speak over everybody and own your ass. Let him
Dude, I don't know, man.
Let him
Where
in.
is it? No, I can't do it, man. Where is it? I can't do it. Talk amongst yourselves. Depart your
Shit, oh my
families.
shit.
So Pokemon Go, right?
Yeah.
Okay, with the
Back on
Pokemon Go,
subject.
what I was thinking about earlier though is how funny it would be is if you walked into each
Oh,
neighborhood and the
God.
music changed. I don't know if you guys already talked
That would
about
be
this.
crazy.
So you walk in the ghetto and fucking some ghetto ass fucking shit starts playing. Yeah,
Yeah.
some fucking NWA starts
I
playing.
got it for Rico. Yeah, because you know what? Hold on,
Well, this ain't a freestyle. You don't got
Well,
it to
no,
Rico.
you
You
know-
ain't ready to bring it to
You know,
Rico.
Yeah.
started all as a
Yeah.
freestyle.
I'm not
And then
the
my
producer. I
friend,
can't take
my
you
friend
nowhere.
who is a black man said that I should write that down. So
My
I
friend.
did. Who is a black man?
Who is a black
Isaiah
man?
Brockman.
You gotta throw that in there.
Yeah. You know what? They should add.
Yeah,
they
man,
should-
I have a ton
They
of
sh-
black
yeah, they should add it.
It's cool.
Yeah.
One more black
I'm not-
friend and I
I'm
can
not-
drop the
I'm not-
N-bomb.
I'm not like that guy
Fucking
on
black
Office
guy in
Space,
here.
like Michael Bolton that pressed the lock. Remember that shit?
Yeah. He says I'm cool, so
I think you'll like this. All right.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna put this in the second book. So this
While he's looking
This
it
is-
up,
hey,
are you
this
still
is
looking
a-
it up, or do you have it?
No, I got it right
yeah,
here.
yeah.
This is-
With
this
enough
is-
with the preamble,
this is a
man. Like
preview.
talk about
This-
blue ball.
This is a preview to the sequel. This is a preview to the sequel. Portfolio Pifo's son, his name's Bout to Blow, and this is one of his raps, okay?
Spoiler
And
alert.
Bout to Blow is BOWTABLO, okay? Bout to Blow playing the fucking Pokemon
Jesus,
Go.
so much
You know what I
lingo.
mean?
Here we go.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. When I consume the room, bodies breed doom and gloom. As y'all's secondary characters on the parameters, check the levels for the devil. He ain't even on my parameter. Yeah. Gotta stop the onslaught. Gotta play the field. Gotta crosswalk the yield beside a yoga broad. Hot to trot. Such sex appeal. If I can creep on her bed sheets, that mass ass firm from the burn like athletes on my track meet. So I pray to spray and make the bitch jizz like she's sick. Then climax on her stack rack, even with my 6-inch dick. There you go.
Hey,
That's not me. That's Bout to Blow. You gotta admit that athletes on a track meet and that's
I mean, this is pretty
What's up?
decent.
See,
Hey,
that's what my
Not
friend
bad.
Isaiah said. I could be a
I'll
writer.
put it
for.
this way: the one person that's viewing us live didn't leave yet. So
Thank
Was that
you,
tight?
one person.
Was that fucking tight?
don't think I don't see you. Out
Hey,
Exactly.
that was the world premiere of one little nugget from the sequel.
My
I
ass
can't
is
name
everywhere.
because by name that's spoiling
I
it.
just
You know
need Rico's follow-up. That's all I'm sitting here
Yeah.
waiting on.
the only
What?
two.
Rico,
The
do you
only,
need a beat?
I think the
Man,
yeah.
I'm hung like a horse. My voice is hoarse. I don't want to rap right now, so leave me the fuck alone.
Boom.
He won the rap battle.
All the mics have been
Leave the
dropped.
mic on the table.
You know? I can hop off the beat and hop back on. It's easy. It's like walking on water.
The innate
Yeah.
ability to diss
He's
white
from the
guys.
Little Wayne
No,
school of
I'm
rap, where
seeing
you
a
rap
shirt
the
that
same
says
word with
Sunday,
the same
Sunday,
word.
haven't jerked off. I think I gotta have a cum day. There you go. Yeah, just fucking.
There's too many white dudes rapping. We're gonna lose every one viewer we have.
But that told a
right
story, right? It said I was like depleting myself with masturbation.
So
this shirt has been through hell.
What do you normally sing about? What is your guys' like band's theme? Is it about pirates' life?
Yeah. All of our Somalians. Most of our
damn Somalians.
That's his entire record. All about how much you hate Somalia.
We have a song. We have a song called "Drinking Problems," which is about everybody. Like, oh, you should get some help for your drinking problems, and we're like, no, fuck you. We like it, and we have a song. We have Barboza, which is about Barboza being a pirate, and we have a song called Black Spot, which is about being hunted by the Kraken. And the other songs are not really piratey related, but they fit the genre.
Can I hear some of your pirate voice?
What's
I'm
that?
really interested in this pirate voice.
The pirate voice, like the one I sing in.
Do you want me to play a song?
What's like a song that you would say best describes your band?
You should just play "Pirate's Life," which is the song.
Alrighty.
It's like our token flagship song.
Is that on your? And that's on your.
It is on the Wix.
Website?
Yep. I am not the one recorded because I didn't come into the band until after the EP.
Well,
but it's my buddy Matt who does secondary vocals, the mandolin, and guitar.
All right. I'm gonna have to do it.
You definitely have to play a snippet of you in the song. So if you have
I'm recorded in Drinking Problems.
Okay.
I came in as a
probably
guest.
drunk.
Where did you record it?
We recorded it out back my way in a town called Newark, which has earth mounds, at a place called Vero Studios. We recorded it there. It's really good recording.
Nice. So you guys
what days of the week do you go there?
Been there once.
So you guys have the Longenberger basket that's getting shut down?
We have the abandoned Longerburger basket, a couple of mounds, and white trash.
Okay, so piles of dirt, an empty basket, and white trash.
Great town. Love it.
Right on, man. Definitely need to visit Newark. I wish there was only white trash Pokemon there. I don't even know.
We have the Midland Theater, and Peter Frampton was there. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Let's do it. It does have that Irish punk music really like for it. Yeah,
we do
clogging all this shit. Oh, really?
This kind of reminds me of some Seawolf shit. Like otters that come out.
Never seen Father and Seal.
Maybe they're a Seawolf. Yeah, that's nice.
So I love it.
Yeah, it's actually really good.
I bartend at
the
a
best part of that song is the second verse where we're talking about we have this map.
You're doing gay vocals there too, like.
I'm not in that at all.
Okay.
Yeah. But the second verse of that song is really good because we have this map. We set a course of brave and bold to find old Montezuma's gold. We have this map, and it shows not the truth, but the path to the fountain of youth. And right here, we were overjoyed because it's really made of ale. And even though we didn't find a speck of gold to spend, I'm okay with beer that gives me life without an end.
Nice.
Singing yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Can you really say about the song that he's actually in?
Yeah, just tell me what
Drinking Problems is the one that I'm in.
Now this is a biography song.
Yeah, we actually wrote it 3 or 4 years ago as like a folky indie kind of song about like
playing shows.
We are playing shows, yeah. We just got done doing a show at Bossy Girls here in Columbus on High Street. We do a lot in Newark. We're trying to get back into Columbus more, bigger venues, all that stuff. So we're
a lot of good venues.
Yeah, we're trying. Ooh, we're trying.
Oh, yeah.
You guys need to look up the Shamrock Club. There's an Irish members only bar that I occasionally bartend.
We need to go there. Then
you guys definitely need.
Yeah, we're looking to go around.
I mean, they have to pay $25 a year to drink there.
Done.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's like a club.
And then so like for instance, I just bartended at an Irish only music festival for 2 days there. They had like it all set up. They had 4 or 5 bands throughout the day. But they have acts
right.
They have acts going 3 or 4 times. I know they've got openings for more bands.
In the car.
I've seen Pokemon Go players have the Fallout Boy Pip-Boy? The Fallout Boy.
Yeah.
Fallout Pip-Boy thing. You get the collector's edition, and they put their phone in there, and it's the Pip-Boy, but they're playing Pokemon.
That's crazy. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the play the sample.
Like about to wrap it up. I was like, Like, we're not even at full power.
No, I pee so fucking often when I drink. It's retarded.
Ooh, I like the vibe of this. I do a lot. And it's free where?
Our website is Wix, so it's pirateslife.wix.com/website, I think. It's on our Facebook.
It sounds really well produced, and I'm a producer. It sounds, you can do something really good when you hear it on just like a little laptop that sounds nice and you can do it and everything.
Beats and sale at shows.
But you get some of those available on like eBay or Amazon?
I believe not. I don't think you can get the EPs and the shirts on Amazon or anything. I hope they're on the website. They were going to do that this morning. We'll find out. That's definitely, please do. That's definitely our goal.
If not, we'll definitely share the links to get that stuff up there for people.
It'd be great.
But again, if you should set up something where people, if they listen to it and they like it, they can get you some money in your pocket. Because I have artists out there that I would love to support that I don't have a way to, and then I have artists out there that I stole all their music when I was in high school. I go to a live show now. I've slipped 2 different people with $20 bills and been like, I stole your first 2 albums. I feel bad. And that money completely skips the record label and everything like that.
Really cool.
Well, there would be more people out there if they knew that was an option.
But you have what's really lacking today in most people is a conscience. Like a lot of people just take shit and they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, maybe.
Like at least you have in the back of the mind, okay, I got
It's too expensive in my humble. It's way too expensive.
That's true.
And it's because the money has to get cut 16 different ways. Right. And with the way technology's going, it's no reason the consumer can't go straight to the producer.
Yeah.
And by the producer, I don't mean the person that cuts the music and gets it distributed. I mean the person that actually creates the product. And if that was the case, you could reach millions of people and still be a millionaire rather than reach millions of people and somehow owe money. And I would like to see things go that way.
And that's what a Patreon. You called it?
Yeah, Patreon's the one that I've been hearing a lot about, and you don't have to hit a target. People.
I've been thinking about doing that, and you kind of inspired me to just fucking pull the trigger.
Let's just assume only 3% of the people out there have the same conscience I do. I don't have a lot of money, but I have a couple bucks to throw somebody that I really like what they do.
And you know what's funny is it's not just for my books. Kevin knows that I'm in music, seriously. So it could be just hey, help me with new equipment, or podcasts. I could use it for podcast equipment.
Yeah.
We keep doing this and get better shit, which we're gonna talk about after the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even if it's which I don't know why I didn't really give it a thought, because I did raise within 30 days a virtual no one $2,500 from just friends and people that believe in me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's.
But how hard is it, or the pride that you have to sell, or to me at least, the pride I would have to sell to go to somebody and ask them for money before I even produce a product?
No, it's not even like that.
Well, I would feel that. I would feel bad. I'd rather produce that product than hey, if you like this, give me some money.
One of the things that did help me is my friend Chris McEnroe. He filmed a no-net teaser video, which was so funny, and it was, you remember, you watched that, right? And it was a little girl waking up, and she immediately goes for her phone. It's it's not working. What? And then the dad comes in and freaks out, and it's a 40-second video, but it really was a good kind of primer for you to get in the mode of that.
That is the first thing I do in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's why.
What did I get overnight? Snapchats, text messages, missed calls.
Absolutely.
Yep. First thing I do.
Too. We were talking about time earlier. We rely on our fucking phones for alarm clocks too, dude. Everybody.
Yeah, I try not to wake up and check my phone for text messages and shit, just because I don't like to start the disappointment that early in the day. But,
what specific disappointment?
Yeah. Well, mainly the lack of people that want to talk to me. But no. Say the world's smallest violin in the very morning. No, when I got out of jail, I had 2 mixed text messages that weren't from work, and I was like, "Yep, that seems about right."
Man, this has been awesome. This first episode has been.
This wasn't too bad.
This went all over the spectrum.
Oh yeah, that's the goal though. That's what we want to do with Bread and Circuses, though. We don't want to have a set topic. We'd like to have guests in here that have something they want to introduce to us.
Yeah.
But we want to talk about everything.
Well, that's the thing is, Kevin, before we started, even with our podcast earlier, Craft is King, See, I'm getting good with the promo.
Plug it in.
But Kevin was saying that, it's like a feeling out process. But I think with all of our varying personalities, that this would be a good 5 unit. We could maybe try to get that together.
Definitely, it'd be cool to see where this leads. No doubt. We definitely need to try and figure out what day we're going to do this again. It's a pilot. Maybe we'll shoot for Sundays.
Yeah.
Who knows where it's going to lead?
I'm free Sundays, usually Sunday.
Yeah. That's typically our day
nights. Maybe. Is it possible that you all could do like nights, like 6, 7?
It's hard to tell. It's definitely something we should discuss in the future.
I only have a week for a while.
Definitely just keep looking back for more to see when we're going to do it, but we'll definitely be putting out there when the next episode is going to be in advance for those who want to know.
If it's not weekly, it's bi-weekly.
Yeah. But no, the goal is definitely to have this as a weekly podcast. We're still trying to sort out the crew and stuff for that and see where it goes, but this is going. We're only 2 hours in. We still got another hour. So yeah, that's great.
The goal is to make each episode 3 hour.
That's kind of what we were shooting for as a target to stop at. And the nice thing about it being completely potpourri is that people can pause it and pick back up where it left off and get right back into the conversation.
Right. A lot of people love it.
And hopefully we'll be on Stitcher here in the next few weeks. So you can find us on there because YouTube is not unless you pay the $10 a month for YouTube Red. Which I'd love to know how much the people that actually produce the content get to see that $10 a month.
They get fucked.
But yeah, I mean, they have their people that they pimp out that I'm sure are getting well taken care of. But we'll be on Stitcher, we'll be on SoundCloud, we'll be on a few different podcasting apps, probably on iTunes, that kind of thing there. And that's where we really would like you to go to check out our podcast. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll definitely be introducing a live video stream to it, but we know that's not really... The podcast market isn't for those people.
People just want to have the earbuds in. And
and that's
like
what
you
we're
said
going
in your job, like installing cable, you're listening to shit.
But there's
not watching a video.
A lot of jobs out there are to that point where you're not welding something. You're in a cubicle. You're picking shit off shelves and putting it and dumping it on a line.
Yeah.
That kind of thing there. And most jobs allow you to have headphones in at this point. If you work at Burger King, I'm sorry, but outside of that, most jobs allow you to have those kind of things going on.
You can watch a video while putting the fries in the fryer.
Yeah.
Well, you could.
Yeah.
So real quick, can somebody run Patreon down for me one more time so I can explain to my bandmates?
Patreon is you can say, just help me out, whatever amount you want, and you can set goals of like, if you give me $5, I'll give you this. If you give me $10, I'll give you this. It's like a system, but that's all up to you and your decisions. Price points.
Personally, I would put the product out there and be like, I already gave you the product. Give me what you think it's worth.
Absolutely, and that's what some people do.
You said I have a conscience. A lot of people would argue with you about that. But I'm one of those people that I value the things that to contribute back to you because you did it. I subscribe to a podcast network that I never get to watch live anymore, but I still pay the $7 a month and end up listening to
because
it on
it's quality content and I enjoy it.
Yeah, and the guys that are involved in it, I appreciate what they're doing, and I want them to be supported for it and continue to do it. Missions, offers, things like that. Give the money straight to those people. Skip these.
And there are people, to your point, there are people that just use Patreon and say, hey, I'm an artist, or I'm a painter, I'm a writer, or I'm a musician. Can you just help me get equipment or get this or get that?
Yeah.
And then there are no rewards.
Yeah.
And that's fucking throw the money.
Technically, the route, if 60 Grit Radio or if the network as a whole decides to get on Patreon, I would prefer not to offer some extra bonus for it. I would rather say, well, this is what we want from you, but even 25 cents helps us. Give us something.
Well, that is certainly something
you're already
on
taking
the road.
Media.
That, because what Kevin and the whole crew here and more, like what Sean, Lou, and others, and
you'll be hearing from people will be hearing from Sean tonight. Sean and I are going off on our pilot sports podcast. Still working up a name because all the good like Out of Bounds and stuff, like all the good sports podcasts.
But you're smart because you're building like this lo-fi empire of like multiple.
Who you call lo-fi?
But you know what I mean. Well, we're certainly not hi-fi.
Well, that's the goal. But
it's build to hi-fi.
Yeah. But everybody is quit looking to get to that level where producers want you or Hollywood wants you. Produce your shit and say, hey, you like what I'm doing now? Imagine what I could do if you paid me for it.
That's the goal.
And that kind of thing there. Put the money directly in my hands, and if I'm not doing what you want, quit putting the money into my hands. But see my vision, give me the money for that.
Well, that's why I think
but it's out there for you.
Maybe Kevin should like things consider, as well as I'm going to on my own separately, but creating a whole big Patreon for the whole network.
Yeah, right on.
Even if nobody does anything right now, who cares? It's there.
Well, right now as a network, the things we obviously need are sound equipment.
Right.
Yes. And
So if you guys are out there listening and you like what we're doing right now, get a hold of somebody. The Patreon account will be there eventually, or whatever we end up doing with it. I would like to see the network go to a straight Bitcoin account, personally, because you're skipping any middleman in that case.
Yeah.
Nobody gets a cut.
There's
Nobody
no
gets,
drama.
Exactly. You can give as little as 10 cents a penny. It doesn't fucking matter. And we get the entire amount. Well, there's some... It depends on how you transfer it, and then you transfer it back into cash. They might take a small percentage.
A little technicality.
But there's nobody else in there that's a middleman saying it has to be 5% of your debit card.
Right,
So a 25% donation does us no good.
Yeah.
Right.
I would like to see it go the route where we could take in 25 cents or 10 cents or 15 cents an episode off of you if you wanted to give it to us.
Right.
But we'll see where things end up going with it. That doesn't really matter. Either way, we're going to be producing the content for people.
Yeah,
and that's
we're going
what
to keep putting it out until we can afford
That's
it.
the key.
That was the big holdup. I mean, those of you, like, for instance, Noah has known me for a long time. I've been going after this for years now.
Non-stop.
I moved here 5 years ago with the intention of doing these sort of things. And we constantly let things like a film's budget or, you know, the inability to get actors together, we kept allowing it to hinder our progress. So that was sort of the whole thing behind this was, you know what, I don't need money for. I don't need money to write short stories or to put out some journalistic articles. I don't need money to make a podcast, you know, so let's get it out there, get our ideas out there while we're still struggling and learning how to figure it out. And then that way we'll have whatever small, however tiny that following is, that those people that like what we're doing when we still don't know what we're doing, you know, it's something to grow from. It's better than taking all this time behind the scenes to try to perfect a craft that you're still going to screw up once you go out and start doing it live. So while you're going to be screwing up, why not go out and just freaking do it? I mean, and a lot of people, anybody who's made it, they'll give you that advice, whether it be a director or a musician. They'll say, keep making shitty music until your music's not shitty. Keep making shitty short films until you make one that's good. So, yeah, we're not going to stop. We're not going to need, you know, at the end of the day, we won't need anyone's money. We'll continue to do it until we can afford to make it better.
But the thing that's most important is your ideology is that money has never, ever been a motivational tool, really. You're just going to keep doing your art, and if it works, it works, but you're just going to keep going. And that's, you never give up. You just keep.
That might be Kevin's vision. I want to make a living on. I want to pursue this full time.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not ashamed to fucking say that, though.
But you got to keep going. You can't. What I mean is, like, you can't. If you think something's going to succeed, you really do believe in yourself, which you should.
Yeah.
But if it fails, who cares? Keep pushing.
Exactly.
Like, for example, like Noda has been moderately successful for a self-published book, but if it failed and fell right on its face, I wouldn't care because I would still write and keep going.
Exactly, and that's what we're going to keep doing with Bad Dinner Guests.
Yeah.
As a whole, is keep pushing, and the ones that flop, they flop, and we're going to keep pushing forward with the ones that are successful.
But as a whole, you slowly start to gain respect from listeners, so that's important.
And we want to keep the same personalities. That's what this show, in my mind's eye, is built for, is to keep those same personalities together to an audience consistently.
So they
so when you tune into Bread and Circuses, you get all of the voices of the network,
you get
the main voices of the network in there with it, and then we bring in other guests to talk to and stuff like that. So you can see the projects that we're working on, you can see our vision, and maybe you can put your money or your vote in the direction that you like that we're going with it. But that's the main goal. But it's not a shameful thing to say you want to make money off of this. Everybody has to make a living. And if you like what people are doing, you want them to be successful at it. You want them to live well. You don't want them to be homeless and producing the art for you. I wouldn't feel good about that. A starving artist should be a thing of the past. You should be able to directly see what the artists that you support are doing and continue to support them. And that's what I love about podcasts, and I love how cheap it is to start up. Because you can see what the artists are doing. You can get a perspective on it. And honestly, if you have any question, if you're one of the followers or listeners that we have right now, ask us questions. I have no problem. We should definitely open up comments or YouTube. Post your questions to YouTube. We'll answer them no matter what they are. If you have suggestions, things like that, give them to us. There's no reason that we wouldn't answer those or at least tell you what we think about it. And if you think the vision should go a different way and we disagree, we're going to tell you why. But it doesn't matter. Like, we're going to be there no matter what for that kind of thing.
How many views we got so far? How many viewers?
Well, we've had as many as 4 live
nice.
at one time.
I think my buddy Matt from the band is actually watching right now.
Well, hello, Matt.
You're a faggot, Matt.
Whoa!
Hashtag love boys.
That's my mandolin player.
Again, mandolin player. Thank you.
We just got another listener. Somebody likes the costume.
And it's gone.
There he goes. There he goes.
Oh, he said, "Screw you guys."
No, sorry, what is a mandolin? I called him a faggot.
That guy was a homophobe anyway. Who cares?
What? This shouldn't be allowed on the internet.
No, but we want to open up.
I can't even feel safe.
Let's just get severely offensive so we can.
Safespace.com. If you don't like what we're saying, just go there. If it's not a domain, we'll open it up later. So you can avoid our podcast. But if you don't know and you're listening to Brendan Circuses right now, the entire vision of the network is a non-censored network where we don't censor our language and we talk about the things that nobody else wants to talk about or the things that aren't considered politically correct to talk about in public. But we want to bring those things to you, and then we want you to talk about those things to other people, and we want to end that kind of monopoly on language and topics that you're allowed to discuss out there.
Exactly.
The biggest thing that the government, and we'll talk about that on 60 Grit Radio, that's done is it's created magic words, it's created taboos, things you don't talk about, things like that. And we want to, personally, I'm hoping the vision of the network is to end those taboos.
Yes.
And to bring those things to where you're talking about those to your friends, your family, you're bringing them up at dinner parties.
And it's certainly not
with your bad dinner guests.
And that's been and that was sort of the whole point was to try to encourage because I was always raised by the thought that you don't talk religion or politics at dinner or at a social gathering. I didn't understand it, but that's how I was raised, and so that's where the concept kind of came from. Was like, well, we need more people. We need more of those drunken assholes who want to just, for whatever reason, you want to get drunk and talk about how the Mormon religion is a sham. Great, I want to hear that conversation. I may or may not agree with it, but damn it, I need to hear it because how else do you form a solid perspective on things if you don't hear all sides of it? So you may come on here and talk about something that I completely disagree with, but that's cool. I'm going to continue to bust my ass to make sure that your content goes out because that's what I think more open conversations and more open dialogues will might not solve any or all problems, but at least it's a start.
And we talk about how people are so addicted to their phone screens. Most people go to imright.com to get their news. What we're trying to do is bring up the idea that imright.com isn't always right. Like, you need to hear these other perspectives. And the thing that happens when you're at a party or a bar or a dinner party that I've never been invited to, when somebody disagrees with you, you change the topic. What we want to bring is a level of civility without the PC.
Yeah.
So you can talk about these things, but magic words don't exist. You can still talk about this.
That should be the tagline: level civility without the PC.
Exactly. You can talk about this shit, and if I say fuck, you don't automatically trigger that I said fuck, so the next 4 words out of my mouth don't matter. If I say nigger, it comes out of my mouth. You can move on with your life because you know I'm not a racist. Yeah. If I say faggot, you move on with your life. You don't. Are you going to have a press
conference tomorrow saying I should have never said that?
No, we will
never myself.
I'm sorry, Rico, if I triggered you there. But my point is that you should be able to say those things with context, and instead of focusing on the word that was said, you focus on the context of the word. Yes. And that we want to get rid of those magic words. And that's what I hope that this network hopefully eventually brings to people. Yeah. Is that those magic words don't exist. And if somebody says that and it's because they're a racist, you recognize that because you hear the next 15 words out of their mouth. If they say it because it fits the conversation piece, you hear that and you accept that and you understand that they were using it because it meant something.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And that's hopefully what we bring with Bad Dinner Guests.
Yeah, and that is you hit the nail on the head. Like that's essentially what we're going for. And besides that, it's just a place for anyone and everyone. I know you people listening will hear the same 3 or 4 voices over all of these podcasts because
we're talking to no one. Yeah, we're pontificating to 0 listeners.
Well, hey,
it's okay. Practice
there's at least
we're going to go.
There's gonna be a handful of stray cats out there that are going to give us a listen.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially once we start promoting on like Twitter. Yeah, we get Twitch up and running, cross promotions.
Definitely, you definitely want to follow the network because we're going everywhere. But the overlying message is that there's no PC, there's no limits, as long as you have something to back what you're saying.
Yeah,
dude, write that down. Level civility without.
It's already written down.
B and C, a level civility without the PC.
Stop trying to rap.
Yeah, see, there it is.
Yeah.
LC.
I'm gonna bring. You know what? If you're still around when I have Sean call later, I'm gonna make you rap battle.
Oh god, that would probably be the funniest.
He's gonna
We
learn
have
something,
weekly
yeah.
like shitty rap battles, like and I'll lose.
Oh, yeah.
They'll like put me under the table, but that would be like why people love listening.
Sean would beat me up
Do you like
if I
making
pitched to him that he'd be on a segment called Shitty Rap Battles. I think he'd be like, "Fuck no, man.
No,
What are you trying to say, man?"
I guess right when that came out of my mouth, I was like, okay, it would be half shitty. Can we
Yeah,
say
I was
halfway
gonna say,
shitty.
Half shitty.
Half
What?
shitty.
We'll do one-sided rap battles, maybe.
Yeah, one-sided rap battles.
Is that a white guy versus a black guy?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in this situation, it would be. I was gonna say.
Nate, Eminem. That can like fucking freestyle off the top of their head.
Have you ever heard the freestyle that Lil Dicky did, like on Sway? That was
not a freestyle.
Well, I
that
know
was
he
a
writes
record-
his shit, but
yeah.
he still is good.
I've heard that he's good,
He's
but there's a
deliberate.
difference between a freestyle and
Yeah.
that was out of.
Yeah.
I can't remember the song that was out of, but I saw that and I was like, man, that guy can spit off the
And
top
then
of
you
his
saw that
head.
it was written.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, no,
Can
that's pretty
Sean
cool.
freestyle? Pretty good.
I don't know. I can't speak for him on
Okay.
that. I would. Think
I've met
so.
2 black kids or white kids in my entire life that could freestyle.
I've met 2 black kids.
I've only met 2 black kids in my entire life, but I've only met 2 white kids in my entire life that can
And one of
freestyle.
them is
I befriended one of them, the other one called me a racist, so here we are.
You gotta have one friend. You gotta have one friend you can call.
No,
That one
Ronnie, if
some
you're
stuff
out there
that he said.
listening, please confirm I have at least 2 blackish
Yes.
friends.
Blackish.
Blackish. Can we watch that show now?
So Pokemon Go.
Fantastic.
Yeah. To wrap this up, we're gonna get back. Yeah. Full circle.
All day long.
Yeah.
I guess, what are the final thoughts on Pokemon Go? Because we've examined
It's
it.
amazing and gonna change the world.
It's already changed the world.
I saw a fantastic meme that said Pokemon Go did more for childhood obesity in one day than Michelle Obama did in 8 years.
Yep.
So, not to be one to
One
only be
of
on
the
the
memes
negative
that I
side.
saw was really funny. Like it showed like a guy like in bed all miserable looking at his phone, and it said like when you get an alert, a notification on your phone, and you think it's Pokemon Go, but it's just your girl showing her tits.
So, you're talking about like interpersonal relationships in Pokemon Go. What do you think about the 3 teams that are in Pokemon Go? Have you noticed anything about that yet?
No, I haven't. I don't know the logistics of that.
Okay, well, a lot of people are
I know there
saying
are groups and
a lot of people are saying that it's turning into like a gang war, and it's like Crips and Bloods and some yellow team. But
it's gonna be really hard to be hard.
Crips, Bloods, and Kings, excuse me. But it's Valor is red, Mystic is blue, and Instinct is yellow. And a lot of people are trying to say that
There's
like,
gang
that's-
warfare and
that's causing gaming warfare, and there's a lot of like actual animosity
Oh yeah.
towards
Oh,
other
you'd be
teams,
pissed.
and
Oh, you'd
it's
be my
just
Pokemon, I'm
all
gonna beat
it's
that
just
ass.
all trash talk,
As
and it's
long
all
as it
fun.
doesn't turn into actual like
See,
white
Rico,
kid
watch out.
gang wars
Yeah.
somehow.
No, I think it's all. I hope it all just remains like friendly,
Civil.
competitive, civil trash talk.
No.
Because
No.
everything on Facebook for me is just memes about like this team sucks, this team's really cool, you should join.
You
this
know what's
team.
funny about Facebook now, and this is one thing that I found. I've observed this over the last few months, and it just gets worse. Is that you said it's all memes? Like mostly the whole news feed. You could have like 300, 400 friends. It's all like memes, videos, pictures, meme. Like nobody even just fucking just writes something.
So something
Dang,
funny.
Yeah. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, just
Like-
writes about how they feel for the day.
Yeah, like you would never see like a whole like row of just text.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Haven't seen
you're
that in
always
a
gonna
long
see
time.
YouTube. Now that Facebook did the Go Live thing,
Yeah.
where you can just fucking broadcast
Yeah.
anytime you want.
Oh, don't think we won't be putting that to use.
Oh yeah, we're doing that shit.
Lou and I have a road trip podcast that we do
Okay,
occasionally,
that's
where
nice.
it's like I literally just the last one was me randomly pressing record on a podcast on our drive home from Walmart, talking about the shit we had just seen at Walmart. And so yeah,
Walmart
is.
is
I won't.
crazy.
I won't.
What happened here?
This phone
So
just
there's
ate
some
something.
green lines on my phone that he's pointing out, asking about right now. What happened, according to my friend that works at a cell phone store, is that because my screen cracked,
Can I see
light
that?
is filtering in,
hell.
And it's fucking with the atomizer. So it's not actually my screen is broken,
Wow.
but it's projecting those green signs. So yeah, apparently if you get those green lines on your cell phone screen, if you just replace the glass and not the screen itself, it'll fix those green lines. It's just because light's getting in where it should.
So
And yet you're lazy.
What are you gonna do about it? Like,
I bought the phone screen. I do not have a heat gun. So whenever I can get down to Zanesville to him, I'm going to bring him the phone screen. He's supposedly going to replace it for me for free.
I think it's pretty cool.
Dude, when I saw that, I noticed that earlier. I thought it was like something like a new wave like app or something that you were doing. Like,
No, that would be
crazy,
fucking
man.
interesting, maybe.
Just have information
Futuristic.
constantly feeding down it.
I got a green lion. It's a subfolder of all my apps.
Right. Right. Do you remember when you got your smartphone though? And all like,
Oh,
okay, I shouldn't say you, but when I got my first fucking smartphone, all I did was go to the app store and see like all the bullshit I could download.
Yeah.
There was that fake
My
beer can.
first
all the
smartphone
fucking-
was the iPhone 4.
Okay,
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
right on. I've been Android from the start.
Oh, so you're either an Android or iPhone person. So mostly.
That's
what I
pretty
hear.
much how it goes.
Yeah, but what else is there out there? The
Yeah,
Microsoft shit failed. If they didn't drain battery life so much, I think that it would have been an okay.
Well, remember when
OS.
Microsoft had old school like that MP3 player that was supposed to compete.
I love the Zune.
Zune.
Fuck you didn't like the
No,
Zune.
no, I got
That
you.
was a fucking brick. It could take everything
Dude, it
you
was
handed to
hardcore.
it.
You know what's funny is I actually went on eBay and I wanted to get like, and they still have. They're cheap. They can get $56 like a working one.
Yeah, what was wrong with
The
them was that the
screen
hard drive would eventually
Yeah.
disconnect from the motherboard.
And then how would you get that fixed? Like, do you think people?
Well, now that I know how to
specialists?
do shit like that, I
They
could go
solder
and
it.
fix it. But back then, you were fucked
Those
because there
screens
wasn't
were
those
good,
kind of stores.
too.
Yeah, the screen,
And I
the
love,
resolution on them was good.
And I love like how like the text, like music, photos, videos, they were big. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
text, it was tight.
I don't
really
see why
good.
they dropped out.
I don't
market.
understand why that fell off.
I don't
because
either.
They could have mastered
People
it.
made fun of them because they were bricks. At the time,
But they-
when
yeah,
Zune
the
came out, it
operating
was like
system
16
was
times the
solid.
size of an iPod.
But they could have
Yeah.
modernized that and made it.
I didn't want them to. The
Oh, you
reason
wanna
the
keep
fucking
it?
iPod was so fucking, and still to this day,
Flimsy.
iPhones are so fucking flimsy is because of their size.
Yeah.
Zoom was like, fuck that, we want to make something rugged for the
That
normal
is
human
true.
being.
Yeah, but that doesn't
Right.
fit a lot of people's hands and pockets
Yeah.
and a lot,
I got
a lot
the
of
big
places
ass
to touch
hands.
please, but not everybody does.
Now
Yeah.
with Zune, I'm gonna buy Zune.
Yeah, no doubt. If they came out with a new Zune phone, I would
Yeah.
buy that if it ran Android OS.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I don't need this fucking thin little fucking flimsy, my screen's already cracked piece of
Well,
shit.
sometimes a man
Give me
wants
a
a
break.
whole like a device that's like hardy and like
Yeah.
secure.
It's
Yeah.
funny how we went from like these big ass phones
What?
down to the
Did you
Juke.
sexualize that?
Do you remember the Juke?
Yeah.
The Juke.
Yeah, it was like fucking.
Oh, the Jew.
Yeah, it was
You
the
just
size of a
slide it
fucking
up.
flip cone.
It was.
And we've gone clear down to that, and now we're back up to see how
Yeah,
big of a
man.
screen we can put in somebody's hand and still use it as a
Yeah,
phone.
yeah,
Give me a Zune in that case.
yeah.
People were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it weighs too much." Nobody cares about the fucking extra couple
Look
Not
at
ounces.
anymore.
Zoom. I forgot about a Zoom.
They're making phones bigger now.
Yeah, because if they get too light, you don't even notice when somebody slips it out of your pocket.
Absolutely. Yeah. Somebody jacks you and then it's over. You don't even notice it.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
know
you
that
know.
occur, but I hear.
Yep, and you
I'm
can
so-
see
I'm
on the
so-
live stream, it's all the memes he's looking at right now. It's all trash talk.
That's
all it is.
It's all.
Don't take the teams so seriously, people. I'm
Yeah.
Team Valor, hardcore Team Valor. I'm not going to beat you up if you're Mystic or
If you
Instinct.
spray paint your fucking team's logo on some shit, I'm completely okay with you getting publicly hanged.
Right,
Completely
buy
okay
a
for
shirt.
everybody.
You
There's
gotta
no need for that
represent
shit
the
unless you're
plan,
under
though.
18 and just a retarded little kid. If you're a
You
retarded
gotta
little kid, if you're
represent
listening to
that
this, I
plan.
apologize.
This is my favorite one.
No, get on Etsy.
Winter's
Talk
coming.
to your friends who own like printing businesses. Get a shirt. Get a window decal. Get a button. Something like that.
And if you want to tag some shit, don't use spray paint. Use those washable fucking markers that they use for fucking windows on fucking cars and shit like
Yeah,
that.
there's
Don't be a
there's
complete
no need
asshole.
to tag places, and there's no need to go out and enforce.
No, but I see that shit and you're going to ruin it. And I hate government regulation. But
That's
what
my
Yeah.
favorite one.
That's
Red versus
my
blue,
favorite.
and yellow
Yeah.
eats glue.
Yep.
but yeah,
That's the one that's gonna stay.
Don't ruin
I gotta
it for
see what this
everybody.
last
Team Valor.
Uncle Sam is looking for a reason to
Guys,
step
get
his feet
choked
on
out.
some shit.
Yeah.
They really are. And every regulator out there. I've heard a couple cities have already banned it.
Damn it.
New York.
Yeah.
There is a Democratic senator in New York trying
Of
to
course, it's done.
exactly ban or regulate Pokemon Go based on the two dudes in California walking off a cliff and sustaining serious injuries, or a couple of kids in Toledo hop the fence at the zoo to catch Pokemon, and they're trespassing. those two examples of those three people are very bad examples of Pokemon Go players and of people in general.
Skills.
Oh, there's a Pokemon inside this no trespassing zone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna trespass and get it.
It's like you can't legislate stupidity.
Yeah, you can't. They'll try,
But
they'll try.
use it to work their fingers into that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to AEP to collect Voltords yet. Hopefully, eventually you do. I kind of want that.
Yeah,
That would be nice,
awesome.
but as far as I know, they are just like randomized.
Yeah.
I caught a Gengar last night at a bar.
Right.
That's not a cemetery.
Right.
You know, like they're just
I'd be
randomized.
okay with that shit if you have to go to a cemetery to collect this shit.
Did you hear about the coughing being at
Yeah.
The Holocaust.
I think that's like even if that was on purpose, I'm okay with that though.
Back to
Like
that.
A, you're getting people to go somewhere they wouldn't have gone before,
I
and
am
B,
sad
that was
It's
a Team
relevant.
Rocket Pokemon.
It's relevant.
That was a bad guy Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't like that's not a happy like thing. You know what I mean? Like it might be, but you're going there still. Like even if those monuments and shit like that only went to that, why are we making that out to be a bad thing? You're getting people to go to those things that might not have been interested
Right,
otherwise.
and when there's nothing around, they're going to
Yeah,
read
you catch
the
the
pieces
people
of paper or the sign.
Exactly.
1-0.
And Team Rocket was always the bad guys. Like, okay, so you have to go to those sites that talk about shit. You have to go to World War II Museum to catch the bad guy Pokemon, that kind of thing there. There's only so many Pokemon that correlate to that. And again, you're not looking at your fucking phone screen the entire time.
Yeah.
Right.
So you catch those Pokemon that go along with the bad guy shit, and you're there. Are you just going to go in there, pay the $3 to get in and leave? No.
No, you're gonna.
So I would
yeah.
hope that museums and shit like that.
Well,
would
it's just like the restaurant thing. Remember, you're gonna go in there. You're going to get a cheeseburger and fries. You're not gonna just sit there.
so as the Holocaust
Coincidentally,
Museum,
there's a Pokemon.
I would
Absolutely.
pay Pokemon or Vivitron or whatever the fuck it. Vivitron's a TV brain. What is it?
Niantic?
Niantic. You would pay Niantic
Keyhole.
to have your you would have. Did you say Kegel?
Keyhole.
Oh, I thought you said Kegel, which was
that's-
kind
yes.
of funny.
Also,
But yeah, you would pay
for
them
that too. You
to
should
have
pay-
that shit there, and you're going to attract the youth that aren't interested in this shit. World War II's more prevalent to us because our grandparents served in that shit. Us, the kids we're going to have or you already have,
Yeah.
they don't have any fucking tie to that shit. Their grandparents
know.
are your parents that weren't in World War II and shit like that. So they're not going to have any reason to be drawn to that. Yeah, it's taught in history class. We already know that the government schools
they
are
know
skewing
what's
that
here
shit.
now.
Exactly.
That's what they care
So
about.
get them to go to those places to do that shit. And
I
it
see
doesn't
what you're
have to be
saying. It's good
Pokemon.
historical.
Exactly.
Right.
Implement that.
Yep.
Instead of fighting it and saying it's a bad thing, and again, we're against that PC culture of the instant reaction to the
Knee-jerk
thing. And,
reactions.
yeah, the knee-jerk
Let's try to
reaction.
spin it on its head.
Exactly.
And educate.
Use it in your favor instead of instantly being fucking offended by it. Turn it into your own kind of thing.
Right. And if I could say just 2 points off the top of my head, I know for a fact that a few of my friends and people I know are not only walking around playing Pokemon Go in random places, but they're taking bags with them and picking up trash. And
Really?
throwing their trash away, and then they're, recycling it or
So
throwing
they're
it away.
almost doing essentially community service.
Right, so they're walking
That
around the
makes sense.
Earthworks mounds,
Holy shit.
and they're picking up trash and cigarette butts and everything else. And then
Wow.
another thing, I saw somebody post, a couple different people posted it. You can get on these apps on your phone that track your steps, and based on your steps, they'll donate money to like dog shelters and homeless shelters and shit like that.
Mm.
So if you're gonna go hash that
That's
10-kilometer
positive.
egg,
Yeah.
hash the 10-kilometer egg, and at the same time donate money to a homeless shelter or like an animal shelter, something like that.
And if I was a businessman
Yeah.
running those public parks, I'd say if you brought me a full bag of trash back, here's a free potion.
Yeah.
And if you buy the rights to have these certain Pokemon on your site, you would have that, like, they should give you those things to give out to people.
Right, and I wish you could give out items like that, but you can't. But it's like, oh, if you can go collect a full bag of trash, here's like something from the museum. Here's a button. Here's a shirt.
Well,
Something.
even that, give
We'll
them
put your
additional
name on this
content that doesn't
plaque.
cost you any resources. Give them a potion. Give them 15 Pokemon.
If you could give potions, that would be great.
Well,
You
I'm
can't.
hoping it goes there is what I'm saying.
That would be nice. That
Yeah.
would be a good thing.
Give
But
them
as of now,
incentives.
Yeah.
yeah,
Again, I'm
incentives.
hoping they try and take the money from the businesses, not the people, because the people are going to bring their money to those businesses.
Right, but the items being an incentive, I'm not so sure about, because I can go to the Earthworks mounds and just sit there within the three Pokestops that are
So
10 feet from each other, and every 5 minutes I'm going to get 3 potions.
Right.
So, like, in-game content, not so much yet, but again, here's a shirt,
Yeah.
like, here's this, here's that, something to get,
Right.
like, pick up trash.
Yeah.
Are you on that dog shelter app? Awesome, here's a shirt, something like that.
Yeah.
There was some bus station in Columbus that's like, oh, our
Some
station.
Fine snap work.
Our bus station is a gym, and if your team holds the gym, we'll give you like $1 bus ticket, something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, cool, I'm going to go to this bus station, catch the gym, and then take a bus downtown to go catch more gym and pick up trash.
Exactly.
Because I'm a badass.
And then another gym's going to take that over, and you're going to have to pay for your fare back.
You guys hear
But
about
still.
the Uber driver?
No.
The Uber driver that's offering, he'll take you around town for a certain amount of money per person, and he'll just do whatever you want. Like, you want to go over here?
I've
Cool.
seen
You
that
want
on
to go under
Craigslist,
5
and it
miles
goes
an
Uber.
hour? Cool.
Yep.
No, it's crazy.
It's
I
a lot of
I don't want to see Uber
People
drivers
are
doing that
talking
because the
so
roads are
hard.
already so clogged, but these like fucking rickshaw drivers that we see around here doing it, they're already traveling at that slow speed. They keep doing that.
I'd rather see an Uber driver doing it for 3 or 4 people than 3 or 4 people separately.
Yeah, exactly.
$20
Get a
an
group
hour.
together. Go out and hunt. If you
People
want
are-
to,
What
like,
did you say, Rico?
I was just gonna say that Uber driver is probably still a responsible driver in the
Yes.
sense of he will put on his turn signal and get over, versus
And-
holy shit,
and,
a
like,
Celebi
put your,
and slam on
yeah.
a brake.
Your
Well,
flash
he's
light
well,
on.
in a way, he has to because he works
Yeah, he's-
more. Like, I mean,
He
don't-
has to
Working
be way
with on the
more,
job.
way
they
way
could
more.
give him a bad rating and be like,
Yeah.
you suck.
You have to really up your alertness.
We should bring up is that these Pokemon don't disappear. Like if you're in that area, if you pass that Chauncey or whatever,
You could go back.
yeah, that
Turn
Uber
around.
driver or the taxi driver, rickshaw driver, or whatever pulls
So-
over. You get out of their car. They're still making money because they're
Okay.
sitting there waiting on you. You go out, you get close enough to it that you can catch it, and then you get back in that fucking
Right.
Uber and on with your
So
Another
it's
point-
not like a video game where like an enemy just vanishes, like where they blink out and they go
Right.
away.
I had not like
They
a
stay
Zam
there.
used to teleport and get away from me when I was trying to capture, but for the most part,
They're
you're not
there.
going to have that kind of
Right.
thing happen.
Point on that too. I've went out 3 or 4 times and just gotten completely trashed, and then walked around and played Pokemon. And there have been a lot of events on Facebook, like, oh, the Pokemon Go pub crawl. Cool. Go out, have some beers, catch Pokemon. If you don't want to drive home or you don't think you can walk, you can get this Uber guy and catch more Pokemon.
Exactly.
Yes, that's true.
It'd be
Right,
fucking
so,
rad if
yeah.
Pokemon was like, do you want to prepay for your ride home?
Right.
We know you're going on this pub crawl. And not
Request
only
a
that,
ride.
the police,
Or you
which
could
in
sign
my
up
ultimate
for it
libertarian
inside the
society.
Pokemon community.
Yeah.
Just
So-
have messaging and all that kind
Yeah,
of
exactly. I'm a straight edge person that plays Pokemon, but I'll still give you the ride home. That kind of thing
Yeah.
there. But these
That's
things are going to pop
beneficial,
up.
yeah.
I just hope that they keep ahead of the curve. But again, the police will know that there's, and even in my ultimate libertarian society, there still has to be a police arm. They're going to know that all of these people are doing this pub crawl, doing this
Yeah.
Pokemon game. So there's going to be inherent security with the group, and then there's going to be the security force that knows what's going on, that kind of thing there. So they're watching for you, and because you know the police are right there, you're not going to be getting in your car pissed drunk.
Just the other day, we were hanging out catching Pokemon at a park, and we're walking back to our car, and a Heath, Ohio police department pulls up, and he's like, "Hey, you guys playing Pokemon? Yeah, cool. How many you caught? Oh, not enough. All right. Well, there's a dude that just ran away from us from the supermarket. He's running through the park right now. He's running from us. We're just trying to see if we can get a hold of him. So if you see him, let us know." And 50 people back at the Pokestops. I'm walking to my car. That's 60, 70 people that are out looking for this dude for you. And it's like, oh, hey, we just saw you run across the park. Hey, Heath PD, we just saw him, which I actually did. So
That's awesome.
they don't
They
seem
have
like
to track
Getting people in their
Right,
screens,
right.
but still together. And
They
it's
don't-
been for so long, people only in their screens, talking to people across the country or their friends.
kind of being self-involved.
Yeah.
exactly. They're not monumental like, oh, Pokemon Go saved world hunger. They're not monumental
Yeah.
steps in the right
But they're
direction,
doing
but it's
good
these
deeds.
little steps, smaller community steps that are building up to it.
And the
Right.
thing I hate most about society, or shouldn't say most, one of the things I hate most about society today is how
I should
afraid we
say
are of our
most again.
peers. And
That's
we're seeing
true.
with things like
We
this
don't even
that,
want to look like we'll
Exactly.
put our head down, not even look.
yeah, and I
Nice.
make it a point that everybody I see to say, "What's up, dude? How you doing, dude?"
Yeah.
Just because I want to break that tension and we all feel
And
it.
there shouldn't even be
I
any
feel-
tension.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like
This is
always up
showing.
in line.
Yeah.
It really is.
These groups of people that are completely separate from one another can pass each other and be like, "Hey man, there's a scyther back there," and you can be a hood rat talking to a fucking millionaire. You both have that thing in common, and it's showing that you're not afraid that that little hood rat's going to rob you. That kind of thing. You both have the same goals going on.
Yeah, Pokemon Go is like the ultimate icebreaker.
Hopefully,
As of now, yeah.
As of now,
As of
it
now.
is, yeah.
No
all
more shitty
built
pickup
on
lines.
our
All
fucking
right.
nostalgia for it, and we all
Yeah.
shared that, but we don't. Even back then, you didn't talk to it. I didn't realize how many people in my childhood actually played Pokemon because they were
Yeah.
afraid to admit it because they were also on the football team. or
Well, also
whatever.
that was like a segregated, like it was a condensed version of this, obviously, because you had your Game Boy.
Right.
You were playing like Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue.
You were actually in your screen. You had a link cable, and the only thing you could do was fight. You weren't helping each other out.
No.
You could trade, but who actually traded their Charizard?
But it was very limited.
No one traded a Charizard for a Blastoise.
Exactly.
I would have.
To build
The way that I worked it was I would just have my friends start a new game, give me all 3 of the Pokemon, trade the Pokemon that needed to be traded so they would evolve, and then go on about my day.
I had a Game Boy Advance and Collar, and I would just
manipulating the game mechanics.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. But now you don't have to do that. You actually have to communicate.
That's right.
With your peers. And it's easier to communicate with your peers now to do it. Yeah. So, and that you said there's an update coming, right, Vito? That's
yeah, the next big update they're talking about doing inter-trainer trading.
Right on. So it's easier to network than buy another
smartphone. That's going to expand it even more. Make it easier for people.
I wonder how.
Hey, I have this. Come meet me here.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, there's going to be robberies that occur, but that was happening with Craigslist. That was happening before Craigslist. Things like that.
Yeah, there have been things happening, but you can't pin those just on Pokemon. You can take Pokemon Go out of that sentence and put anything else.
Society is
just as many
warped.
Oh yeah,
just as many good things have happened as many bad things that have happened.
Exactly.
Finding dead bodies, preventing rapes and murders.
Right. It's all about how our 6 companies that control 90% of our media decide to portray it to
Conspiracy
theories. That's all I'm saying is, it's a lot of times because all we do is we pay attention to our main sources of news. It's just based on really what we choose to subject ourselves to. So if you choose to believe that Pokemon is a bad thing, that it's setting us back.
Pokemon is better.
Yeah. If you choose to believe that.
Dude, I grew up in the church where a lot of members were bad because of those monsters. Yeah.
Really?
I had friends growing up that were not allowed to play.
Pokemon demons.
Yeah,
they got them Pokemon cards.
The Pokemon.
You can't come over here.
Funny story, last time I checked, the Westboro Baptist Church is a gym, and the person holding it had a Magmar named Satan at a power of 666.
I heard that they were doing game friendly.
So fitting.
So I find that hysterical. Sorry, any members of Westboro Baptist Church.
I am not sorry.
I finished with no sorry.
I say that. That's like working together. That should be like a closer.
Right?
Like, mic drop. End of episode.
Westboro Baptist Church can come fucking protest me at my house.
That's right.
That.
Shout out.
Protesting is fine, but they go too far. Anyway.
They go too far. But again, they're allowed, whatever. If they wanted to do a podcast on our channel, we'd have to say yes.
Equal opportunity podcast.
We have fucked ourselves in that regard. Where it's like,
how many views they would get, though?
Do
you know how many views they would get,
though? I know, man.
So many.
That's like
so many.
A complete instance of just like selling your soul to the devil right there on the spot. It's like, yeah, for sure. Boom, here you go. But it's the West Baptist Church in this case. Is the devil. Oh wait, did I say that?
Political correctness.
Something I want to introduce.
Yes,
maybe on this podcast. We'll see what podcast. I want to introduce, and I stole this. I'll admit it from the get-go. I stole this from Punch Drunk Sports. They have a bag of bets. I love the idea of a bag of bets because, I don't know, all my guy friends, you want to bet, and then you Google it, or then you fucking wait until the result of the sporting event, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And whoever wins. But instead of having to come up with a bet off the top of your head, there's a bag, or I was talking to Kevin, I want to do a tinfoil hat because a lot of shit we talk about ends up like conspiracy theories. I want to do tinfoil hat bets. But we come up with the bets or the fucking whatever the punishment is for losing the bet, and you draw that. So you agree to the bet before you draw it.
And then you don't know.
Then you draw it. And one of the ones that I want to see happen with it is you have to protest with the Westboro Baptist Church. That was like one of the ones that I want to first put in there. Is if you lose the bet, you have to go to a protest.
You probably want to lose to do it.
Well, yeah, I find myself identifying with a lot of what they have to say at the Westboro Baptist Church personally. But so it's fine with me. That's not true. Check me out at 6 Figure Radio.
Number 13.
Not affiliated with the Pirates Life.
Snuck it in again.
I'm gonna stick that shit in.
I don't know if that's actually. I don't know if that's the accurate number too. I said it's 13, but I'll have to read.
One of our viewers. Do you want to play? We should fucking bet on it.
yeah. How many times did you plug that shit? And then, are we gonna do a Price is Right style, like over under, like
closest without going over?
Yeah, closest without going over.
I think I'm at like 7. You say 13.
Yeah,
it's higher than 7.
Is it good for me?
I'm gonna go
good for me.
Man. Don't say it again, but we'll say it. So 17, 13,
at this rate, you would think that 60 Grit is the parent station.
I want to make it clear that I am on the Bad Dinner Guest Radio.
No, you're our sponsor.
I definitely want you guys to check me out.
Yes.
I'm not ashamed of it, but I also want you guys to check out No Net, and I definitely want you to check out Pirates Life. I've about said Bad Pirates Life.
Bad Pirates.
Check them out too.
And we'll send all the links to all of our corresponding sections.
This will be the longest description.
Go here, go there,
with
go
all
here.
the links. I'm gonna have to section it out for everybody.
Somebody's gonna get like their minds. I don't want to go anywhere.
Nobody's going to listen to me.
I just want to catch Pokemon.
And just talks about himself. That's
You
fine.
said this one was centric of Pokemon Go, and you spent.
That's what I told everybody, and then it's just like, okay, Pokemon Go.
Yeah. I mean, we got back to it.
No, we hit it.
And that's why this second time around, I didn't include Pokemon Go in the title, because I was like, you know what? I'm going to title this one. If people check in live, all right, but I'm just going to title this one after we're done, so I have some kind of idea as to what to even call it.
And the goal is, in my mind's eye, again, we'll see where it leads, but to have maybe a few points that we want to touch on. But if we touch on something or something else gets brought up and we end up fucking talking about that for 3 hours, so be it. Let's just
Yeah, that was sort of the point behind this. Is we have 4 or 5 now that we plan out, that we take the time to write outlines for.
I like
try
the
to stay
structure
on
of
topic.
this.
Yeah.
This is supposed to just be an open dialogue.
Exactly.
But, you know, just whatever happens to. Because we messed with it last weekend with our Spitball and Bad Dinner Guest podcast, where we just literally the first words. I pressed record in the middle of a conversation in which Lou was talking about Rick and Morty, and so the first words anybody heard, there was no introduction. The first thing they heard was Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Mr. Poopy
That's
Butthole!
how it started, right there. Just
I love Mr. Poopy
Butthole right off the top. And so that's sort of kind of what we're going for here is just, you know, wherever it goes. If we start talking about Mormon garmies and, you know, procreation underwear, then so be it. That's
Procreation underwear.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we had a whole thing.
check it out. Check out our last podcast because it was really fucking interesting. It was more along the lines of what we're going with here.
Yeah, we talked about a bunch of different random stuff like porn and Mormons, and it was but there's this thing called garmies where if you ever seen a bathing suit in the circa 1920s era bathing suit, you know, like the ones where it was like a t-shirt and shorts to your knees.
Yeah.
That is essentially what the Mormon sex underwear is. It is like a full t-shirt, full shorts to your knees with like this fucking like hatch right here for you to
I have some
genitals
Mormon
through.
friends, and I'm gonna have to ask.
I'm going to bring this image up just so you guys can see it, but everybody listening, just Google search or Google image search Mormon magic underwear. If you type in Mormon M, it'll come up with the rest of it because apparently it's pretty often.
Mormon. If you type in Mormon on Google,
Mormon
the first thing that pops up is
That's
Mormon
it.
underwear. Rico, verify this for me.
That's fucking wild.
It's not flattering at all. You can't even see.
No,
the
it
tits.
looks like the tits can't even come out of the chick's
See?
uniform, which
No,
is
no,
There's some garmies. Bam.
basically you can only get vagina and snatch open. Which
Yeah,
I guess
Is that all you
Yeah,
get?
it's the same photo I'm popping
Yeah.
Now I will say there was where was that one picture?
You can only get that
There
open.
was
How
some
do
hot
they poop?
garmies right here. Where'd that
Well, you're
go?
not pooping when you're having magic sex.
Maybe.
Because pooping is the
Maybe
devil
if
if
it's
you're
so-
religious.
Now, she makes it
especially
work, you know.
She
I
makes
didn't know
she
whether
makes it work, but
Hey.
then again, she's also taking it off.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether
I'm
to
not buying it.
ejaculate or defecate.
Oh no! Don't let's.
Wordplay.
Definitely, now we're getting close
Like
to the munting conversation again. Now we just got.
You guys
I've
don't know what
solidified
munting is?
myself as a writer.
Do you know what munting is?
No.
Do you know what munting
I
is?
cannot say
No.
I do.
So, I'm probably going to... Anyhow, munting is where you use a corpse and somebody puts their mouth... What they put their mouth on the anus? Is that correct, Kevin? And then your friend jumps on their stomach to produce some fluids coming out of that. Or
Wow.
Yeah. And I was
That's
actually
weird.
gagging when it was being described to me in the last podcast, and I'm like pre-gag right now talking about it.
Who
But
would even want to do that?
I don't know, but we talk about it a lot in our last podcast.
Yeah.
So
Of course you did.
check it out.
Of course you did.
Yep.
Well, now I want to.
Yeah.
Check that shit out.
Exactly. Yeah. It
I
was,
don't want to. But
I don't want to, but it's like,
it was like a.
it's like a verbal card.
It's like a-
See,
I was
now
gonna say,
I
it's an
feel like
audio
if I go
trainer.
out
Yeah.
Pokemon hunting, I'm going to see that.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
Don't go look for a coughing in the cemetery. You might run into
Yeah, somebody jumping on a stomach and another guy's back.
No doubt. But what I like is that earlier you did your conversation with Kevin about your book and stuff like that, right? And then you get to come in here and everybody gets to know everything else about you. They get to know your personality and things like that outside of NoNet.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you have something out there that you want to share, we have a network or a show on our network out there for you to talk about it on. But even if you don't want to do that, come on to our show here and talk about it. We can get you on here either through Skype or Google Plus or something like that. Yeah. You can talk about it, talk about your product, but we're going to talk about all this other shit. You're going to talk about munting on top of your whatever the fuck you're talking about. But the cool thing is that you get that part of you out there. And a lot of times on the interviews that you see on the fucking TV and all that other shit out there, you only get the product.
It's very streamlined. Yeah.
And what we want to get out there is that there's a person behind it. And once you realize there's a person behind it, we get into people wanting to fund it because there's a person behind it. It's not this guy that's just making the shit. Your book looks like a finished product. People see your book and they assume that this guy's getting paid. Yeah. People don't realize what goes into it and what you might take a loss on that book. People don't realize that kind of thing.
People know the under the behind the scenes
exactly work. You don't have to put a biography in the back. You already said you don't want to put critically acclaimed by this or that. You don't want to put all that shit in there. Well, when you come on to shows like this, you get to put all that shit out there without it being exactly details. And people get to know you organically rather than you just telling them the highlights or what you want them to know. And that's what we want to bring to the table with it, but without PC.
And a 5-man podcast is following weeks of each episode. There's always a blossoming character development, because you always learn something.
Exactly.
I mean, I could do a podcast with the 4 of you for a year, and I would still learn things that I would never have known about you. Because it's limitless.
Exactly. So if you're out there listening and you have something out there you might want to come on and talk about, or you just want to come and tell jokes about bullshit, send us a message on Facebook, or we'll get the emails up in the details about this.
And we'll get RJ's phone number posted so you can leave him nice voicemails.
I don't have voicemail set up for that reason.
We'll get on our shit. Get all that shit.
Well, you guys already know where I live. So.
Yeah, do you want to mention that again?
Sandusky, Ohio.
Port Clinton.
Indianapolis, Minnesota.
Rebecca.
Mantis in Pittsburgh.
Jesus Christ. So we talked about Pokemon Go, Muntin, policy, all that
book,
kind of shit. Yeah. And what's the Writers Podcast on our network?
The Writers Podcast that we're going to do a quick test run, and then it will get going soon, is called Write Strife.
Okay, and the goal of that is only writers? Is it musicians? What is it?
No, it's only writers, and it's essentially it's going to be Kevin and I at the jump, and then the following podcasts that come of it will have, because we know a lot of writer friends, and then we'll either invite them, like you said, Google Plus, or if they want to come in person and do a few hours.
Always optimal.
Yeah, always. Yep, and then preferably I would like, because I mean, I think there's nothing like face-to-face interaction.
Well, then I can get you drunk too.
Yeah. So the thing is, we decided like each. This is more free-form based, but with kind of, loose planning or whatever. But like ours is going to be like the first episode we do is going to be like the process of how we write and how we create.
So a little bit more structured.
Yeah, because I wrote this book. A lot of people take years. A lot of friends take years to write a book. Like I wrote NoNet from May 23rd to October 23rd, and I did it every day, anytime I could. And I just like obsessed with it and lived in that world. Well, a lot of people have different things. Like they'll write for a while and then take a month off, and then everybody has their different things. So we're going to, because I don't even know Kevin's. I mean, he's like one of my closest friends, but I don't even know his process, like how he does it.
Right.
And so that's what we're going for. Yeah, and we're going to attack, like for instance, today the blanket term we'll just be discussing the process. Like for instance, to give a little spoiler, a lot of something that I do that not a lot of people. Maybe I'll find out that a lot of people do it this way. So when I am in idea mode, a lot of times I have playlists towards certain stories. Like for instance, a script I wrote, Like Father, Like Son, was I already have 13 different songs picked out for what would be the official soundtrack for that. So when I go to work on that, I just will listen to one of the songs that will jog my memory, and I really sort of I have a notebook laid out. But that's why a lot of times if you would, like, for instance, come up to my room and knock on the door, you might know I'm home, hear no response because I've got surround sound, speakers going in my head, and I'm in writing mode. And sometimes it'll work one way or the other. Sometimes I'll just listen to music and a scene will come to me, and I'll have the desire to write a story around that scene. Other times I hear a song and it plays out to me as if it were like the trailer of a movie, and I see little bits and pieces of what, of a story, and then I take it from there. I actually have a collection that I'm working on right now called Fan Fiction, in which I title every short story based off of the song that it was influenced by. And so instead of just like writing fan fiction on a movie or characters that are already out there, like one of them, for instance, is a sort of a sequel to Major Tom. David Bowie wrote Space Oddity, and then there was the band name is slipping my mind right now. But then there was the follow-up song called Major Tom that was done in the 80s by not David Bowie, that essentially is part 2 of Space Oddity. And so like for instance, you would take like for instance, a short story I have out called Off the Rails is based off of an old country song about a homeless dude who lives on trains. Yeah. And I took that, and that's like the direct, and I'll do little things like include little bits of lyric as a dialogue, leave little Easter eggs throughout the story of like what it came from. And so it's little things like that where we have a weird, unique process. And so what we're going for is to try to,
and that could easily be an hour episode.
Either already want to write or already are writers. There are a lot of people that I know that will come to me and just say things along the lines of like, I wish I could do what you do. And I just kind of am taken back by that. I'm like, well, dude, you can, man. You understand. You know the English language. It's like anything else.
It's a learnable craft.
Yeah.
So you have to have the passion for it.
Right. So your guys' podcast could feature people that have the writing process down for themselves.
Yeah.
People that have questions about
what they
want to learn.
And that's why when he said writers only, that's why I felt I wanted to jump in real quick and kind of clarify that it could be someone at any stage.
Yeah. Writer is very broad, from somebody who wants to write and has the ideas in their head to somebody that's already published.
This isn't like a master's, like you have to have a certain fucking jacket.
Yeah. Looks like your Schilling room, Major Tom.
Okay.
There it was, yeah. Thank you,
Peter
Schilling. Thank you.
Thank you, Google.
Yes.
What would I do without you? Like if there was no net.
It's going to be
Hey, if you want to know what people do, read the book. No.
So we need to wrap up here. We're getting short on time. We have a couple other things we need to record for the network here. So again, Vito, they can find you where?
Newark? No.
He means digitally.
Not
physically.
Facebook, where everybody else is. Again, A Pirate's Life, also on Facebook. We have our link to our website up there. My phone number is as follows in the description.
Right on.
I exist, man. Come find me.
All right.
Noah, where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter, NanManMe, NanManMe.
Okay.
It's Noah Nichols. I'm pretty easy to find. The great thing about the first book, it's called No Net. Very simple. Yeah. It's not like the life and times of Richard F. Wisely.
Which is the shit that I like.
And again, that's N-O-Net, not knowledge of the net.
Yeah, right. It's just
for 3 people that can grasp that.
No Net, Noah Nichols, all ends.
Right on. And you just recorded a podcast for, what was the podcast?
The podcast was Craft is King, and it was just kind of...
He was our first guest. So
he was the first kid for No Net.
Is just basically a way for us to get with local artists. So he is
we're also
artist that we have immediate access to.
I guess we should promote it right now, really quick. But in a week's time or so, we're gonna do a follow-up part 2. So essentially, I'll probably maybe we'll just do episode 2, and that will be the follow-up with
episode.
Because I'm releasing my second novel next week.
Right on. I don't bring that up unless you're about it. Do you have a title for that, or is it just?
It's called Cat Incarcerated.
Okay.
And it's about I'll just give a synopsis really quick. It's a middle-aged man. He's recently divorced. He's a recovering alcoholic. He sees a black kitten out in the middle of the street. He goes to rescue it. Yeah, he goes to rescue the cat. Rescue the cat, and while he rescues it, he gets hit by a teen driver texting. He dies. He's inexplicably reincarnated as a kitten himself. And then he, after being alone for a little while, and this is just the very start of the book, after being alone for a while, he's Sorry, I'm tired. He gets rescued and discovered by his ex-wife, who is now become a closet drunk.
Awesome.
So he lives. He was divorced from her. He's now a kid, and he lives with her, and she's like a slobbering drunk, and he can't talk at the first, but he starts to, and then you think it sounds serious, but it's more like zany, like insane, like there's some crazy shit.
And you guys are going to be talking about that again next week?
Yeah.
For sure. Awesome. So everybody look out for that.
And it's called Cat Incarcerated, not just because he's a cat. His name when he was a human was Kate Tanner.
Okay.
So cat.
Fucking
He's trapped in the
some next level shit in that title there.
Well, and that even was what about Strands of Sand?
Strands of Sand?
Is that not the one?
No. See, there's a lot of shit going on. I'm moving.
Because
Strands of Sand, here I'll clarify, and we'll talk about this in the process. Strands of Sand, like with the writing, my work rate is like in Bonza right now.
Yeah.
Like Strands of Sand was done in November, NaNoWriMo, where I don't know if you've heard of that, but NaNoWriMo is this big thing where all across like the world they do the challenge is to write a 50,000 words or more in 1 month in November, and then submit it to them. And just
so now I'm supposed to not shave all month and write an entire novel.
That's right. Can you do that
in November?
Can you do that?
Peasy.
Yeah.
So
what else you got?
So what happened is my editor and I, from NoNet, we did on Google Docs. Google Docs. We wrote Strands of Sand completely for November, just like hardcore got into it, and then we just kind of cleaned it up. And the cool thing is this is for writers that are listening, or if anybody wants to be. There's a thing called Kindle Scout by Amazon, and what it is you submit your book there, over 50,000 words or more, or whatever, and they review it after 30 days. People can nominate it, and then they kind of graph your popularity if people are interested in your story and all the shit, and you give a sample. And then when it's done, if they pick you after they read your book amongst the Amazon crew, they sign you to a 5-year contract. You get paid $1,500, and then you're
for 5 years. That's awesome.
No. Check this out. You get $1,500 up front, but then you're in a 5-year contract, guaranteed to make $25,000, or else you can revert out of your contract. You get and it's all free to do this.
Oh, nice.
Like you can just do like if Kevin wrote a book and he got a cover that he was like happy with, he could promote it, put it on for 30 days, and then you just promote it on all the social medias.
Nice. And you'll be diving more into this on your guys' next podcast.
Oh yeah, because that will be in the process. But
right on. And we'll definitely get links on all of our pages to how to find that and how to find it on that Kindle. Yeah. Was it Kindle or Amazon?
Amazon Kindle Scout, but that's right now we're currently in review.
Okay.
But we were in the hot and trending in the top page of Amazon. Nice. So there's a lot of things, and that story is there's a plane crash. And see, I'm going to explain this premise really quick, and you're going to think a certain way, but it's like pretty much the craziest survival beach story, because my mind works in different ways, as Kevin can see from NoNet.
Yes.
So I'm not just the typical fucker. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guarantee you, any book that I'm associated with, it's going to be a little unique. But Strands of Sand is about a guy and a woman, and they wreck. Everybody fucking dies in the play, but they survive. But she is off in another area, and he's off in another area. They don't know that they're there. It's not a romance novel or anything. It's crazy. And I wrote the man part, and then she wrote the woman part, obviously. Okay. And then we converged together to write the next sections when they converge.
Nice. I can't wait to hear more about that. That's going to be awesome.
Like mysterious.
If I'm not here for the podcast, I'll definitely be listening to it.
Yeah.
Kevin's he's kind of got his hands in all the podcasts we're doing right now. Is there anything in particular you want to talk about or tell people to listen to?
Yeah. Well, like I said, tonight I'm interested with this whole day. This whole day is blowing me away, honestly.
We've learned a lot of things.
And I still have a lot of work to do. I'm not even halfway done with my podcasting for the day. I still have.
Right.
We're gonna try that right strike. We're gonna have to keep it pretty quick.
Yeah.
And
that's why it's episode 0.
The podcast, the sports podcast with Sean here soon, but the flagship. This whole thing started as a bad dinner guest. Just two. Actually, it was 3 guys. Comic nerd. A director that's not me. We had my buddy Dijon, who's really into film, and we both were into sports a little bit, and then it sort of has taking its turn to cast, but we like to dive into more conspiracy things. Just like it's a deep thinking podcast. Like about brain game. One of it's like the way your reading's influence on the brain, neuromarketing, and political doublespeak, things like this. Just things. Our goal really is just to make you think while entertaining you at the same time.
Right.
Sort of not to hurt your brain, but just kind of engage you a little bit and make you think of things maybe in a way you didn't before.
That's good.
Make
for
you go.
Yeah.
And besides that, I would just say check us out actually on the web. If you listen to us and are at all interested in what we're saying, we have right now 4 different authors that have posted short stories on our page. We've got multiple people live streaming their video games that they're playing. So we have these 4 podcast channels, and we do on Twitter we'll pass on other relevant articles that just we think if we enjoy it, we think you might enjoy it. We share other people's work all the time.
Yeah.
So whatever you're into, just you spend an average of 2 hours a day on the internet anyway. Toss us 5 minutes, and we might have something
in the background. Not to cut you off, but the great thing is we're going to be on Stitcher with every single channel of this network here soon. All of the things you're doing, like I was saying with Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, which anybody who's interested in history, check that podcast out.
Check that out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's fucking awesome. Put it on the background. If you don't pick up everything we're saying, it's still better than the fucking Jason Derulo you're listening to in the background.
Right.
I don't know why that's the name that popped into my head.
Well, he's
What
terrible.
time? He's terrible. That's why.
Yeah.
What time? Do you know about what time you guys are going to be live tonight with
We'll be
conspiracy
live
theory
around
cast?
9 or 10 tonight. The way I see it, it's 6 o'clock right now. I'm gonna try to.
And that's just on Bad Dinner Guests live on YouTube.
Yep, Bad Dinner Gets Live. It's the flagship.
I'll be
so
sure to subscribe to that.
Yeah, yes.
And
Please
everybody
subscribe
else
to us on YouTube, because if you subscribe to Bad Dinner Guests, you'll get all of these, every single one.
Yeah. And then you can find all of the other channels from there.
And we'll have links to all the different SoundClouds, because the way SoundCloud works, you have limited stuff that you can put up there. So we're separate on most forums of the internet. We're separate entities, and on YouTube is where you can really see that it all comes together as one channel.
And hopefully that opens up to on iTunes where you can find us from each other. But if not, it'll be in the links.
Right, and if not, we'll find ways to link to each other. But so we'll be going sometime, 9 or 10 tonight. Check it out. We'll be talking about the history of skyjacking. Again, the DVD.
I'm looking forward to listening.
Yeah.
That's like a high-end upper echelon.
We get a little kooky. We get a little out there with that one at times. But again, that's sort of the whole concept, is to bring up conversations you might not hear anywhere else.
Right on. Rico, you don't really have any shows on the network right now. You've been talking about maybe doing a Twitch probably for as long as I've been talking about doing a podcast.
Yeah.
You know what? All right.
I wasn't really gonna bring it up, but after hearing about how you guys are creating this huge, massive network, I definitely think it could be something that would help me out, at least with just getting promotions and figuring out this thing called.
And you'll help us out too. That's the whole beauty of it. You have friends that like you that don't fucking know me from Adam.
Yeah.
So at the very,
and that's the point of this network for anybody listening. Not to cut Rico and Kevin off, but if you have something you want to put out there, get a hold of us. If it's something that we think fits us, and most things will, like I said, Kevin said earlier, we have something for every part of the spectrum. We have writing podcasts, conspiracy theory podcasts. I have a libertarian podcast. I'm looking right now for a liberal podcast.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get cars.
We need more Rico.
Nobody would just shut.
We want. I have a buddy that's been asking me if I'm interested in live broadcasting his weekly poker game.
Yeah,
exactly.
That sounds kind of fun.
You're right, like that.
So
I suck at poker.
People
watch it on ESPN.
There's so many fields here.
But Rico, you're looking to maybe launch a Twitch, and then we talked earlier about maybe a Cars podcast.
Yeah.
So definitely watch out for that stuff. Do you have anything you want to say about that?
I'm a box of boxes on PS4.
Okay.
It's as simple as it sounds.
Not
not currently
Very
streaming.
intricate.
I try to make you think a little bit.
I love that, dude.
The gift
sounds
that
like
keeps
something
on
I'd
giving,
fucking
the
say.
box inside of another box. There might be another box in that one.
It's very intricate.
Anything else that you want to tell the people to check you out on?
It's intricate simplicity.
Unfortunately, I am not as consistent as I would like to be with my streaming, but here in the next couple of weeks, I plan to get my entire gaming set up, so I have the webcam and all that.
Get
So
the
I
whole
will be
rig,
doing a nice, consistent schedule, which I'll just update everybody at that point when I'm ready.
Right on.
We'll
It's coming.
post those up.
It's coming.
Right on. And there's been talk, hopefully, of bringing the Twitch into the studio here where we're at now live. So people can actually come here live and Twitch. Once we get everything up and running there, so that'll be awesome too, and give a lot of people the opportunity to do that.
We toyed with that, and that was fun.
Yeah.
We had a buddy of mine. He sat quiet for the most part, and he sat there and played Fallout 4 while we recorded a podcast over the microphone over Twitch. So we're just, if it's an idea, we're gonna try it. So if you have an idea, throw it our way, and we'll help you get it out there.
Exactly.
But for this one specifically, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no doubt.
And look forward to doing it again.
No doubt.
Sure.
Again, I'm RJ, 60 Grit Radio. Check me out. It's a libertarian spin on whatever's going on that week. It doesn't necessarily going to be that week. It might be the month. It might, if it's a slow news week, we might just talk about libertarian philosophy. But what I want to get out there is the libertarian philosophy and libertarian message built into how it could change things that are going on in the media. So check me out on 60 Grit Radio. That's right now all I got going on, but mainly 50? I'm going to check. Did I say 50?
15? 16?
No, that's a lot.
Oh, okay.
You said it.
Yeah, right on. But yeah, check me out there.
I said 13. That's where we stay.
All right.
Well, no, that's just the end of the plugs, and I think it's the end of our podcast there, Kevin.
I think it is. It's time for us to say goodnight. Anybody who is interested, the channel is plugging on. We got at least 2 more, probably 3 more podcasts coming from this channel tonight. So tune in soon. We will definitely alert you via Twitter and Facebook when we start. Anybody else want to say a quick goodbye?
Peace out, Grit Scout.
That's it.
See ya.
We'd like to thank. Let me see. We'd like to thank A Pirate's Life. We'd like to thank 60 Grit Radio, Noah Nichols. And thanks to the host, dinner guests, for allowing us to do whatever we want, whenever we want it. You guys have a good night. Thanks again for joining us.